All right. Hey guys, welcome to the seventh episode of PitchGround webinars, and I'm very excited to invite Reece Lyons from SendPilot, an amazing social media platform, to this live webinar. And with me is my co-host and my favorite co-host of all time. It's Ty Duran from Conversion Fly.
Hey
Ty.
guys, how you doing? Good to see you guys. Oh man, we are excited today to hear from Reece. Reece has got an amazing product, SendPilot. He's doing such a great job. He's bringing all, not only just the key features, but he's even just really packaging it up as a whole. And so today, Reece is going to be talking about how to use and leverage social media to engage and increase engagement, not only on your platforms, but for your offers, and how it all translates through your funnels and through everything that you do online. So, Reece, it's great to have you on the show, man, and we're so excited to hear more from you. Go ahead and jump right in, man. Let us know more about yourself, and we can get this thing rolling.
Thanks a lot, Ty. Yeah, I mean, really, really excited to be here, guys. I did a quick intro yesterday in the group when we went live. So as I say, really, really excited. I've got a couple of slides I can put up on screen. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background to myself, and then we can jump into some of the tips and tricks that we've kind of learned at SendPilot to boost engagement and get more shares, get more likes for Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of thing. So let me share my screen and we will jump straight in. Okay, let me know when you can see everything.
You can see it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, fantastic. Right, start with a really, a picture of me. So obviously my name is Reece Lyons. I'm 21 years of age, based in the United Kingdom. If we've got any UK guys, I'm actually based in Winchester. And I've been working on SendPilot for around 8 months now. So, we're a very, very new platform. It's been a project that I've dedicated a huge amount of time to. I mean, any founders or business owners, you know exactly how long and how many hours go into running a business, especially building software, all that kind of thing. I know, Ty, you understand that quite well, and Udit as well, I'm sure. So that's a little bit about me. Let me just go on to the next slide. So obviously social media, Gary Vaynerchuk says social media is the current state of the internet. I completely agree with that. It's a huge area. It's become a real cornerstone of doing business online. If you go online anywhere now, you can reach out directly to companies, speak to their chat support over Facebook Messenger. There's some services now that actually allow you to find something on Facebook and buy it without even leaving Facebook. There's some incredible services that are really, really harnessing the power of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And it's really revolutionizing the whole e-commerce business, even offline businesses as well. So if you're not leveraging the power of your social media accounts, you're potentially missing out on a lot of revenue, a lot of extra sales, and a lot of customers. So, first tip of the day, if you're not on social media, if your business isn't there, which hopefully it is, definitely get yourself a Facebook account, get yourself a Twitter account, or Instagram as well. So they're kind of three key players that we look to, I suppose, promote, and you'll get the most return on your investment from those players. Okay, so feel free to stop me at any time if there's any comments or questions, but let's jump straight in. So one of the biggest things that we see people doing wrong with their Facebook accounts or their social media posting schedule is they're not actually being consistent. So what we mean by that is, with Facebook, with Twitter, the lifetime of a post can be anywhere from, I think it's something like 3 minutes to, on some platforms, up to an hour. And after that post you put out is irrelevant. It's, nobody's looking at it anymore. Nobody really is interested in it. There's thousands and thousands of other posts and stuff coming in that's going to start grabbing their attention. So you really need to keep your followers and keep your potential customers updated with what you're working on, with what you're doing. And consistency really is key. It doesn't even matter if the post isn't that high quality. As long as you're consistently putting out and engaging with people, that is how you will start to see your followers increase, your likes and your shares increase. Some of the top influencers on social media. So I'm trying to think of an example off my head. Okay, Gary Vaynerchuk, big fan. I'm probably going to talk about him a lot more. Sometimes he just puts out a picture of him looking tired in the morning and saying, this is what it's like to have a business. And that's all he has to do to get hundreds of likes, hundreds of followers. But because he's consistently putting that out on a daily basis and consistently putting out, 5, 10, 15, 20 posts per day, his engagement is obviously through the roof. So consistency really, really is key. And then going straight from that into adding value. The biggest thing about social media is you want to be adding value. So if you think of it from your point of view, if you've got people, we've all got them, friends on our Facebook feeds that are constantly posting about what they're doing or what food they've just eaten or something really, really annoying and kind of trivial, that can annoy people and that can not add any value. So I know everyone in the SaaS game and Udit is all about giving value, creating value for people and sharing something that's interesting, whether that be a inspirational thought or an article or a how-to document or even something you've just read that will actually help your followers or your customers. The best way to get people to become a customer is just to keep adding value, keep giving them amazing content, and basically just trying to enrich their lives. So a really great example of doing this is HubSpot. So HubSpot, if you're not familiar with them, are a huge CRM and sales and marketing platform. They started off really, really small and they've absolutely exploded over the past few years. And the biggest thing, the biggest driver for them was their content marketing. So that was having an active blog. I say active blog, one of the most active blogs I've ever seen. The value and the content that they put out is just unbelievable. So if you type in, how to convert customers online or how to boost your marketing ROI or something like that, the likelihood is you will find a HubSpot article come up. Now, the reason they've done this is obviously they've created this huge ecosystem of thousands and thousands of articles so that they have a reach all over the internet. So when people start to look for answers to problems that they're having in the marketing or sales industry, they're always going to be hit with HubSpot content. And all that does is it just keeps reinforcing that HubSpot is a influencer, that they're a authority within that industry. And, after a few times, you'll start to recognize the brand and you'll start to kind of think if you're looking for a solution in that area, you might think, oh, HubSpot, I keep seeing their content. I keep seeing it on social, keep seeing it online. And that really is the power of content marketing and social media. And when you use social media to take all that content that you've spent hours and hours producing and you just keep consistently spreading it through your Facebook, your Twitter, that will inevitably drive people from social media back to your site, back to your blog. And then hopefully at the end of that, obviously your end goal is to bring them on as a customer. And then again, you'll be boosting those sales, boosting that revenue. And that really is obviously your end goal as a business owner or a blogger or content marketer. Okay, so share powerful content. Yeah, we've touched upon that. So that's just finding something that adds value. And just sharing it as much as you can. Don't worry too much about self-promotion. Self-promotion doesn't get you anywhere near as much engagement as sharing other people's work, sharing other people's content, or just enriching people's lives. Hashtags. This is actually quite an interesting area. A lot of people will just drop links or they will say, they'll start to add value, but they don't actually use the correct hashtags. And the biggest thing with especially Twitter and Facebook as well is discoverability. So you want to be maximizing the discoverability of the posts and the content that you're putting out. So if you are spreading some value on the power of Facebook advertising, just using that hashtag Facebook ads or hashtag how-tos or something like that, that that people interested in those hashtags or following those hashtags will instantly be shown the content that you're putting out. that's how you can then leverage this huge social media, social networking power to bring in new customers and start to gain those new followers. So don't be thinking of your Facebook or your Twitter pages as just your existing customers. You want to be leveraging those platforms to gain new customers. And the best way to do that is through hashtagging and making sure that your posts are very, very discoverable for brand new people. Okay, so using great images and graphics. So very, very common saying, a picture speaks 1,000 words. You can add a huge amount of interest and really, really boost your engagement just by putting great photos in. It doesn't even have to be like a picture of you or what you're doing. You can just grab some really, really nice stock images online. Great resource for that is Pexels. Pexels are completely free. We actually integrate with them in SendPilot, so you can import them straight into your post, but we can touch upon that later. But just sharing a really nice image of something that is going to make people smile, if it's something funny or something that maybe relaxes them, because what you're trying to do, and this is for any kind of sales and marketing efforts, is create a relationship with that person. Relationships are obviously built on emotions and what feelings you strike up in people. And that's some really, really best salespeople, the best sales copywriters for websites, best marketers. They strike an emotion, and that emotion is what creates that connection to a product or a brand. So, if we think of Apple, all of their marketing is based around quality, enriching people's lives. They do a huge amount of some amazing marketing and brand work. That when you go into an Apple store, you kind of feel special almost. And that is how they've grown from obviously being a smaller company when they first started in the 70s to being how they are now, because they've just put so much focus into brand and not being a corporate entity, but being more of a consumer-focused company that you have an emotional connection with. So that's the power of images, power of graphics. Just create that emotional connection with people and you will see your engagement skyrocket. Okay. Are there any, I'll pause for any comments or questions or anything in the group that, Udit, that we can answer?
So I think we're going to be taking up the questions, I think, in the end. But meanwhile,
Okay.
I think we can continue with the webinar.
Fantastic.
So I'm writing down all the questions, and I'm going to start the last 15-20 minutes. We'll Ty and I will just cover the questions from our side as well, from the audience side as well. So we can keep the question answering at the end.
Fantastic. Okay, no problem at all. Perfect. So if we move on to influencers, you may not have heard of influencer marketing. This has been something that has been around for a long time, but on social media, it started to really gain a lot of power and a lot of interest. There's kind of a misconception that you have to reach out to influencers and pay them a lot of money to promote your content or promote your work or your business. That's not true. What we like to do at SendPilot is it comes back to it again, but it's just about adding value for them. So every now and again, we do a roundup of some of the top content marketing pieces we've found. We get some articles from some of our top influencers that we absolutely love, and we write a big blog post, and we do a roundup essentially, maybe 5-10 different content marketers and some of the work that they've recently produced. And then what we do is, now this is where it becomes quite interesting and is actually free to do as well, is we reach out to those influencers on social media prior to publishing that blog post. Now, the reason for doing this is we're giving them a heads up and saying, hey, we love the work that you're doing. We've put this blog post together and we structure it and say, congratulations, you've made it onto our this month's top 10 list of the best content marketers. So what we're doing there is we're obviously making them feel good. We're starting that relationship with those influencers. Everything's about relationship building. So once we've started that relationship, we've given them a heads up, and now they're expecting to see some of their content being shared on our social media. So when we actually publish that blog article and we start spreading it around our Facebook page and our Twitter pages and all that kind of thing, we will tag the influencer that we've reached out to in that post. And what this does is, obviously, it notifies them again, and then it reinforces that relationship that we'd already started. And then what we hope to see, and what we do see, is that they will then like it, share it to their network. And obviously they've got, being an influencer in that industry, they've got a huge network that's much, much bigger than us, and much, much bigger than yourselves. And that is how you get that return on that investment. So instead of just kind of creating a bit of content and saying, and just posting it and hoping for the best, if you set up that environment where the people who have the audience to essentially share your content and share your brand, because it's going to be your brand, it's your blog article on your blog, on your website, all linked to your products or your services. If you can get them to share that organically without having to pay them, just by creating value and just by creating that relationship, that's really, really powerful. We've done that. We've seen some increase in engagement. We've then seen people from their network and their following come over to us and start following us and start sharing our content, and it works in a big chain reaction almost. So if you keep doing this consistently and you keep adding value to these influencers and just sharing their content, because at the end of the day, that's what they want, is for people to engage and share their content. So if you do that first, they will then in turn share yours, and then you'll be driving all of that traffic from their network back to your site. So it's a fantastic way of getting more followers really, really quickly and getting more visibility. Okay, so have a plan. You need a plan for everything in business, generally speaking. Just planning out, the month's social media schedule. So what you're going to be publishing on which days, how many posts you'll be publishing each day, that kind of thing can really help you keep that consistency. So we go back to the first bullet point there. Obviously, consistency is key, and just being able to plan that out ahead of time will mean that you won't have any stresses. You won't be missing days when nothing's going out, and therefore you won't be losing or devaluing your engagement or your audience or your social media presence. Okay, so let's jump on to the next slide. So how to add value. So I talked about this a fair amount, and if you're a fan of any content marketers, you'll hear them talking about adding value all the time. It's basically really, really simple. It's just about turning the spotlight away from yourself and putting it onto the people that you're trying to interact with, whether that's your customers or even just people in your industry, your niche that you're targeting. And turning that spotlight away from yourself and putting it on them and understanding their problems and their goals in their business or their life and how you can help them reach that end goal. So for example, if you were this is where I should have come up with an example before I said, let's go for an example. But if you're a salesperson, for example, instead of just trying to sell your product, you can add value to other businesses. And if you're targeting, dentists, you can give them tips on how to sell their dentist services, for example. And you can do that through content marketing, through social media. So you're not just trying to sell yourself, you're trying to give them content and information that will help them reach their end goals. And then because you started that relationship, then they'll keep following you, they'll keep engaging with your content, they'll keep coming back for more. Because what you're doing is essentially helping them for free. So the more you do that and the more you share relevant content that informs, that educates, that is how you will see an improvement in your social media engagement. And this works for Facebook, for Twitter. Instagram's a little bit different, but the two key players, Facebook, Twitter, this works really, really well. Opening Q&As. So if you are maybe an influencer or trying to be an influencer or an authority in your industry, and you've got a lot to share, if you do a kind of a Reddit style Ask Me Anything or a Q&A, you can kind of drum up some publicity and you can answer people's questions. So if you're a lawyer, you can maybe do an hour of free public, I don't know, not legal advice, but information. So people can ask you anything that they previously had to pay for. You can just say, drop it in a comment and I will get back to you. And just by adding that value, you're already helping them and they'll start to trust you more. People don't like to be sold to at all. People buy from people. So if you create that connection and you answer questions for free, that is how you'll start to bring people in and boost those sales. So, a way I did this personally is I do website reviews. So back when I was freelancing for software companies, I would offer people a free website review of their sales copy, of their website design, all that kind of thing. And I would record maybe a 15, 20-minute video of me going through their whole website, picking apart every single thing and saying, this is adding value, this is not, this is just kind of salesy and horrible. But I'd send that to them for free. And, I wouldn't try and sell them anything, but because I did that and I created that value, and they'd usually come back and say, thank you so much. We've implemented all this and we've seen our conversions increase. And then say, hey, let me hire you to do some more work. And then that is where I would start to make money, right? And start to make those sales, is because I'd created that connection. I'd given something for free that helped them out and that helped them see a change in their business. And then they come back and they say, look, we're willing to pay you now to do a lot more and work with us more on a professional capacity. Exactly the same thing for social media. Really, really good way of doing it and getting more sales. Going live, exactly how we're doing now. Going live on social media, on Facebook, really, really great way to kind of put a face and a live face behind all the content that you put out. Don't have to do it too often, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, whatever works for you. But just by going live on Facebook, you can answer any questions. So you can work that into a live Q&A. You can share some tips that you've had, any interesting stories. People love stories. People buy into stories, especially if it's relevant to them as well and they can relate to it. So, if you can try and go live, it's a little bit nerve-wracking and weird the first few times you do it, especially when you kind of walking along with a camera in your face, talking. It's something that I personally, you won't catch me vlogging, that's for sure. You won't catch me walking down the street with my phone like that. That's something that I, not into, but people love it and get great success from it. Educating people, exactly the same thing. Just educate people, just give them information that they didn't already know. Basically the same thing as sharing relevant content, really. Multiple social networks. Okay, so I think this is, that's the last slide I had, just to not overwhelm everyone. So don't fall into the trap of trying to do everything. So, when you're just starting out in social media marketing or marketing for your business, it's very, very tempting to try and be kind of a jack of all trades and sign up to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and try and do everything and appease everyone. It's not the way to do it at all. If you can focus on one or two networks, so maybe just choose Facebook because Facebook is huge. If you just focus on that, and focus on building a real valuable community and engagement around that one network and that one page or group, and you do that really, really well, you're going to see a huge, huge return on that compared to if you try and fail to do one or two posts here and there on LinkedIn and another day on Facebook, and then it all becomes very, very disjointed. So for us, we personally focus on Facebook. We do a little bit of Twitter here and there, but Facebook is our one main driver, and we're going to start ramping that up even more. But just try and do one or two things well and build an audience and a community around that. Because at the end of the day, it's the community that matters. It's not the platform that you use to build that community. The key really is focusing, focus, go really, really deep on one network, and make that work for you. You don't have to try everything, because it just won't work and you won't have the time to do it. That is pretty much everything I had prepared. Uda, I will throw it back over to you, or are we jumping straight into the demo?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Reece. You added like a ton of value right away. And I completely agree with you. If you might have seen that, even at PitchGround, we are just active on Facebook and YouTube. That's it. That's all we are doing. We're not bothering about Twitter. We're not bothering about Instagram. And I think even Gary Vee, who is like the king of social media, even he said a while back that just start focusing on one network. And even if you are able to master that one network, you're pretty much capturing like a huge audience. And once you have that, use that same audience and leverage your other network. Ask them to follow on your second network. And it helps. It's going to help you to grow much faster at that point of stage. And that's something even Ty has been doing. He's just been focusing on market plan, Facebook group. That's it. And the Facebook his Facebook group is consistently growing, and that's where everyone is. So what's the point of him making a Snapchat? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
Or what's the point of him making a Twitter when everyone and every single person in his community is on Facebook? And Facebook being so large today, most of us spends at least 17 minutes throughout the day on Facebook. That was a stat that was being put out a while back. And if you're going to be spending 17 minutes a day, that's a lot of minutes to capture someone's attention nowadays, because usually people, you only get like 2 or 3 seconds of someone in busy 2018. So if they're spending 17 minutes, and if you can capture that, I feel that's pretty huge. And that makes a big difference. So let me know, like, Ty, what do you think about jumping into Facebook groups and the social media trend that's going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when we first thought about what we were going to do, it became very apparent that Facebook was the way to go, because everyone who has everything else also has Facebook. So it's like, well, why don't we just go there? And, like I said, let word of mouth spread there. I think you're right. I think being able to understand, I think where Reece is like going with this is trying to let people understand that the real value comes in when you're able to actually have a track or a plan. Like when you actually be able to say, okay, like we're going to post this, and then we're going to write this blog, and then we're going to post that, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to lead people down a trail that's going to lead to a relationship, an online relationship. If we don't have that intact, and we're just like sporadically posting stuff just to keep up with the trend, well, then no one gets a clear message from us. And when they don't get a clear message, they go, well, how do you want me to engage? You just seem to be kind of sporadic. But when you have like consistency and the ability to leverage that consistency into a relationship that could end up leading to dollars, then people start understanding why it is you do what you do and what you really want to, how you really want to help people,
Exactly. And also, like, do you plan to add any kind of like social media modules into MarketPlan.io, so that maybe we can integrate it with SendPilot, and that integration happens and it can just make things life easy for people?
Well, I will definitely tell you this, that there is a plugin, there's a thing coming very soon in MarketPlan.io. We're going to be releasing it in the MarketPlan.io group very shortly. I don't know if you guys saw already, but this week I got beat to the punch, man, with one of our feature releases. Someone just like jumped in there and was like, they're doing this, oh my gosh. And like I was planning a video announcement and all this stuff. So we have another feature here that's coming out here soon. And I plan to announce both of those features on a live video to let everybody know. But I think I'll get with Reece a little bit later here and see if it actually works with it. But that'll be really exciting.
No, that will be fantastic, because at that point of stage, we can plan out our entire like social media campaigns, and then if Reece can probably release some kind of internal API for you, then at that point of stage, it can just make it so easy. Like I can just design my entire social media funnel, and not just my website funnel. I can just plan it out ahead of time for like the next 1 month. And what like Gary Vee is doing, I think even he might have not thought of like automating the entire process of planning and distribution. And I think he released a presentation a while back for how to distribute your contents, that how you can create like one piece of content and chop it off and just distribute it into like different social media. So maybe we can actually make a software out of it. And this is where, like, I think the collaboration of MarketPlan.io with SendPilot can be so golden, where I can just plan everything out and then SendPilot takes care of the executional work. So I will have two of my robots out there doing all the work for me, where I'll just create like content once.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing with any kind of content, right, whether it's blogs, whether it's social media or anything like that, is definitely always going to come back to one thing. It's going to come back to a team of people, or you as a person, a solopreneur, or either an agency or whatever you are, having a plan and being able to communicate around that plan so that everybody's on the same page. Because congruency at the end of the day, even with your social media posts, is everything. Having your message be clear, saying the same thing, adding the same amount of value. You're never going to like add value over here and then add value over there and then
Right.
Your audience split. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be, this is who we are. You know, I've had people come up to us and they said to us, you know what your app should do? Your app should do this, 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 and this. And we say like, well, but that's not who we are. We're this, 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 this. And you know what they say to me every time? Oh, okay. I like your app better. Let's do that. You know. But when you tell them on your vision, when you're sure about what you're doing and you go to that audience and you say, listen, this is who we are. This is who we are. But like Reece was saying, not in a way that's like, hey, buy my product. Hey, buy my product.
Right.
But in a way that says like, hey, this is who we are and we're here to help you do it. This is why we built this product, is because we believe in this philosophy. And when you add the value onto that philosophy, then people start believing in the big idea. And when they start believing in the big idea, then what happens? It translates over. And this is what Peter Drucker said. He was the mastermind of marketing. He said, the goal of marketing is to make sales superfluous. And what does that mean? That means the goal of marketing is to make sales happen anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that with Apple, right? I mean, doesn't Apple do that all the time? Apple doesn't say, now the new iPad is only $399, blah, blah, blah. They don't do that. They don't even put the price on there. They just show someone taking pictures of memories with their iPad and then going and drawing on it and doing all these meaningful things. And then everybody goes to Apple's website and buys it no matter what price they put on the thing, right? That is the goal of marketing. And that's something that if you go like onto YouTube and you look at some of Steve Jobs' marketing tactics, his whole thing was like, listen, it's got to become a part of the person's integrated idea and their philosophy. They've got to think about business, and they got to think about, for them it was computing, right? Computers. They said they have to think about computers the way we do. So we have to convince them that our way about doing a computer is actually the way that's best. And so that's the important piece of the puzzle. We have to get to that. And when we don't get there, what we end up doing is we sound cheap. You know, we sound cheap to people. We just like, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. Do this thing. I can help you with this. I can help you with this. Instead of saying like, hey, did you know that this and this and this and this? Oh my gosh, I never knew that. Like, what else does this person know that I don't know? Let me follow them. They then become a like. After they become a like and you continue adding that value, then you start showing them how your tool actually makes that problem easier. Then it's like it's a no-brainer at that point. Just a no-brainer value add at that point. They'll just say, let me pick up the service, you know, let me do it. Let me pick up the product. Let me buy that person's course. Let me get a session with that person. Let me go out to that. Let me make this my real estate agent. Whatever the case might be, when you add value for the problem and then you're able to be the solution, they'll eventually find you because they're searching.
Mm. Exactly. And I completely agree to like every single point. You know, it's all about like adding value regardless of the platforms. And when you combine that with software, because the reason why we make software is because we can save time. So something that would take minutes or hours or maybe days to complete, that's something that software can accomplish today in like minutes or even seconds. And when you start combining two different softwares with different powers, that can further reduce your time. I think that's where the real fun with marketing really begins.
Yeah, I mean, just from my point of view, and I always say this to some of the websites and people that I consult with, is in SaaS, in software, people haven't found you because you've got a cool bit of software. They found you because they've got a problem and they're hoping that you're that solution, right? So people are buying solutions. They're not buying products or services. They're buying a solution to the problem that they're having. So the quicker you show them that you're a solution and you help them meet that end goal, the quicker they'll become a customer. If you just sit and, this is one of the biggest problems I see personally on websites is they'll just name all the different features they have. Like nobody cares what features you have. If you position it as a solution, instead of just a feature, that is what drives the sales. I mean, if you go on Intercom, Intercom is a chat service for customer support. They don't name all the features. They just put something like acquire new customers, engage customers, sell more, or something like that. And then they break it down into how that happens. But they don't just name. They don't just say live chat. One-to-one chat, that kind of thing. It's all about that value and helping people meet their end goals and being a solution to the problem that they're having.
Right.
Yeah, I think, go ahead, Judith.
So I was saying that it's not about what, it's always about why. So if you can answer why, then I think there's no better answer than that.
Yeah. And for us, it's always been the same thing, like what you were saying, Reece. As much as we'd like to think people care about our business, they don't. They just don't. Like no matter what niche you're in, right? Whether you're doing SaaS, whether you're doing service, whether you're an agency, no matter who you are, unfortunately, they don't necessarily know you and they don't know why they need to know you. But the moment you start adding value, then their perspective changes. And the moment that they look and go, oh my gosh, because remember, we live in a world where we make micro commitments before we make macro commitments all the time, right? We date before we get married, right?
Yeah.
We do that all the time. And if you are not willing with your service and to add the amount of value that says, hey, I want to make this like a thing. Hey, I want to put a ring on it, or hey, I want to pay a subscription, right? Then how are you going to be able to acquire the customers? Because the customers can't believe, and this is the reason why so many of these SaaS products have a freemium version. Because listen, we want you to see that it works because they're that confident in their product. And they're saying, hey, you want to date us? Listen, we can't go full commitment with you, but we can give you this many features for absolutely free. And then once you see that works for you and how much more we have to offer, hey, if you like it, then let's make a commitment here. Let's get serious.
Yeah.
And we do that with everything in life. And so we have to learn with business. We have to do that as well. So if you're an agency, I always tell people, try to solve a small problem first and solve it quickly. You solve a small problem first and then you solve it quickly. They're going to say, I have other problems. And the moment they say they have other problems, now you become the solution. And so whether you're, like I said, if you're in software or whatever the case might be, try to find out what are the smaller problems that people are having. Like, I'll give you an example with ConversionFly. We have started looking towards being able to have a 4-question survey by which we can give you how your funnel is doing. So a lot of people won't necessarily want to purchase right off the bat a membership to ConversionFly, but however, they do want to know how their funnel's doing. So what we do is we create a lead magnet for a little survey that then scores them on how their funnel's doing. And you know what that does? That creates firstly a deficit as if your funnel's not doing well, it says, hey, your funnel's performing at 50%. Now we have an opportunity to open up some conversation and say, hey, your funnel is at 50%. Here's how to get it. Here's a blog post about how to increase that. And so what we're doing is we're Facebook, posting about this awesome, get your funnel ranking or whatever the case might website. And then all of a sudden from there, they're coming to the site. They're then giving us their lead. And then on email, we're then following up with them and then saying hey, here's how to boost that. Here's a blog post. So we've already added 2 value adds that cost them no money. We have a lead now. And so now we're driving them down the value path to be able to get them to understand that I'm only going to increase this once I begin the optimization process. And when they do that, they say, well, I could either sit there with Google Analytics for days and days on end, or I could just get conversion fly right now and today start knowing my numbers. And when we convince them of that, boom, they buy. And so again, regardless of the niche, I use conversion fly as an example because it's been well established, but regardless of the niche, you have to realize that if you're not solving micro problems, you're never going to if you're never going to date someone, you're never going to marry someone.
Yeah.
I think this is exactly what Gary Vee keeps saying every single time. Like, try to solve like micro problems. Don't jump into building rockets right away. Even Elon Musk started with a payment gateway.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I mean, for me, that's a fantastic point. I think I'm going to try and implement something like that at SendPilot as well, just to before they've even signed up, just to give them some kind of extra value, whether that's a automated analysis of their social media campaign or something like that. I think you've taught me something there, Ty, that I'll take away, and I'll see what we can implement to do a similar thing.
Fantastic. So Reece, if you want to dive in and start showing what SendPilot can really do, what are your roadmaps, and would love that. I've been playing around with the software, and I'm in love. I'm just waiting for it. So
fantastic. Let me just resume my sharing of the screen. Has that come up now?
It's up, but it's got the
slides.
The slides still.
Oh, okay. Bear with me 2 seconds. Right.
Meanwhile, guys, if you have any question about social media, please ask us, and we'll be more than happy to cover them. If you're stuck anywhere, if you're running an agency, or in general, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you solve every single question.
Fantastic. Let's close that out. Okay, is that come up now?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep, I can see it.
Awesome. Okay, let's jump straight in. So essentially what we're doing at SendPilot is we're solving the problem that comes before the whole scheduling part. So we've got all these solutions out there like Buffer, Hootsuite, all of these different platforms that you're probably very familiar with. But the problem before that is obviously needing to have that time to sit down and actually write out all of those individual posts that you want to be scheduling. For me personally, I used to spend maybe 1 or 2 hours a day filling up my Buffer queue, writing or Hootsuite queue, writing the next week or the next month's social media posts to promote some content that we just produced, or share some other articles I'd found on Forbes or that kind of thing. That would take hours and hours and hours to do that. So I kind of had this idea of what if we created a platform where once we produce a new blog article, I don't have to write anything, and the software would essentially be able to analyze that blog article and then write all of my social media campaigns for me. So I spent a little bit of time playing around with a few different APIs and that kind of thing, and how I could essentially get kind of an MVP up and running. And I think I built the first version in just over a week, and when it worked, it kind of blew me away. I know that's a bit of a cliche, weird thing to say as the founder, but when I saw that I'd produced this blog article and then I clicked a button, and the whole thing was then converted into 8 social media posts that were then scheduled for, I think I did it for 3 months. I was like, wow, this is gonna save me hours. It's probably gonna save other people hours. So I did a little bit of research. I reached out to some people, and they were like, yeah, sign me up. So we essentially launched SendPilot in January of this year. Very, very, very rough beta platform. Loads of problems we had with it initially. And then we started gathering more feedback and finding out what people really wanted. And that's where we are now. Obviously, this is now our official launch. Super excited to go through PitchGround and bring it to everyone. So the solution that we're providing is you now no longer have to spend hours and hours writing all your social media posts. And when I say social media, I mean Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, even Instagram as well. You now no longer have to do that. SendPilot does it all for you in about 30 seconds. And not only does it write social media campaigns based on your blog content, but it also understands the topics of your blog content. So we use like machine learning and all some really, really cool geeky stuff that I won't get into. But if you're blogging about Facebook advertising, for example, we'll know that. We'll analyze the blog article, know that you're talking about Facebook ads, and then we'll crawl the web and pull in some really great content from Forbes, Tech Radar, all these different outlets in that industry, all based around Facebook advertising. And we'll pull all of that content in. Then we will create influencer marketing posts. So going back to some of the tips I touched on earlier, what it will do is it will create a social media post. It will pull an image from the blog article, maybe from Forbes or wherever it's found it. It will add the title, and it will add like a call to action, like, hey, this is, give this a read. And it will put the title in, and it'll have like a call to action saying you can read the full thing at, drop the backlink to the site. But then what we'll also do is we'll actually tag that content producer. So we'll tag Forbes in that automatically for you, so that when you share that, Forbes will be notified that you've shared a piece of their content. Now, whether or not they share that, because obviously Forbes are very, very big, but whatever outlet it comes from, they will see that you've shared a piece of their content, and that will obviously engage them to then share that and say, hey, thanks for this, or like it, and then share it to their audience. So all of that stuff I touched on earlier, SendPilot does all of that for you, and it does it automatically in about 30 seconds. So enough of me going on about it. Let's show you how it works. So this is the dashboard. We've got a really, really clean dashboard in SendPilot. We have all of the main feature points up here. So we obviously can connect our profiles. For me, I'm connected. We offer 3 connection options. You can either connect with your social media profiles directly. You can connect via Buffer if you prefer to use Buffer as a scheduler, or you can connect with over 1,000 apps via Zapier. So if you like Hootsuite or CoSchedule, or I think Planable are on there, any of those apps, you can create everything in SendPilot and push it all to whatever social media manager you want. Or you can set up other triggers like notifying your whole team when a new campaign's done, all that kind of thing. So I'm set up with Buffer, just as my personal preference. And then what we can do is we can create some default hashtags. So in SendPilot, you can create hashtags that are relevant to your industry, and you can save those. And the post that SendPilot writes will use a selection of those hashtags going forward. Or you can use app mentions if you, which work on Twitter. So if you always want to target a certain influencer, you can app mention them, and then it'll add it to a post going forward. So you don't have to do it manually. So for me, I have hashtag marketing, hashtag business, and hashtag social media. I can change these at any time, but for now, I'm pretty happy with those. So post templates, what we can do is if we've got a slogan or a catchphrase that we use in our business. So maybe for Nike, it would be just do it, for example. You could add that here. So we could put just do it. I can type properly. There we go. Just do it. And then what this will do is it will add this to a small number of the posts. So not all of them, but it'll add it to a selection. So that when they're created, it'll add your personalized slogan in. And the reason behind this is a lot of concern that we had was, what if it doesn't get my brand voice across? Or what if it doesn't, reflect my style, and I want to make sure it's personal to my company. So this is the reason for doing this, is people can get their brand voice across just by adding, just their slogan or something that shows their audience or their customers that it's their brand, and that, they're the people to be listening to and be influenced by. So that's the reason behind that. Personally, I don't actually have any templates, so I'm going to close that out. Select profiles. So we give you full control in SendPilot. Whether you're connected via buffer or directly, you can toggle off and on your profiles at any time. And then what this does is it's forward facing. So if I toggle this off now, future campaigns will only be sent to the social media profiles that I've toggled on. This is a really good way if you are managing clients, but you've only got one or two and you don't want to spring for the agency package. You can still connect your clients' accounts, and you just have to toggle them on and off. So when you're managing one client, you just turn everyone else off and just manage that one client. So let's close that. Let's just do Twitter for today. Okay, so I'll show you those shortly. Okay, so if we launch a new campaign, give this a click, we get two options. We can either create social media posts using my blog, or we can discover and share articles in your industry. So let's do one from a blog article we just published. All we do is we post the URL of the blog article in and click Get Content. Give it a few seconds. And what this is doing now is it's basically visiting the blog article, pulling all the information in, pulling the images, understanding the structure of it, and the content and all that kind of thing. So let's give that a few seconds. Okay, brilliant. So good start to the demo. We've got a success message. So we can now choose how many social media posts we want SendPilot to write for us. Per campaign, we offer a maximum of 8 at the moment. We may increase that, but we found 8 is kind of the perfect amount to promote one blog article. If you don't want 8, that's fine. You can change just by dragging this how many posts you want to write. So let's go the whole way and let's do 8 for this campaign. When we're happy, we can click Build Campaign. This can take 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, depending on how much content you've got, how long the blog article is, a few different things like that. So this is writing all of the posts for me. It's taking all of those hashtags that we've created. It's any templates, and it's kind of understanding that, and it's adding call to actions in. And I'll show you the results in a second. So one of the really good things about SendPilot is you only actually have to do this once. So at the end of the campaign, there is a toggle that says Detect RSS. If you toggle that on, going forward, if you publish new blog articles, SendPilot will automatically detect that on your blog, and it will create a campaign for you, and it will then send you an email saying, hey, we saw you publish a new article, we've created a campaign, come back and review it. And then you can log in and review the new campaign, make any changes, or just say, yep, happy, and then you can send it out. So it's really, really automated. It's like having a social media manager that just kind of works in the background. You don't need to come in and paste it every time. Okay, brilliant. So we have the post created for the next 12 months. So what we try and do is we will pull out a different image from the article. We then obviously write the content, and we give you a character count. So if you're preparing something for Twitter, you obviously want to know how many characters are in the post. So I'll give you some examples of the content we produce. So here we have what social media marketing is and what it is not. It's got our blog name in there, and then it's got a call to action. So it says subscribe for industry updates and then a backlink to the blog article. And then obviously it's got 3 hashtags as well in there to boost that discoverability. Now, one of the things we get a lot of questions asked about is link shortening. So we have 3 link shortening options at the moment. We have the default SendPilot link, which is essentially link.sendpilot.co with a slash and then a unique code. If you don't want that, that's fine. We also offer a Google shortener or no shortener whatsoever, so you can have your full URL on there if you like. We are looking at adding some more, potentially a custom link shortener as well. So if you've got your own domain, well, obviously you have your own domain, but you can add your own domain shortener. That's on the roadmap later down the line, but that's something we're working on as well. So we've got 8 different unique posts. So every single post is unique. We don't just copy and paste posts or anything like that. Every single post is different. And every single one is designed to make sense. So we don't work on like we're accurate 70% of the time or 80% of the time. Every single post should make sense. And that is what sets us above some of the other similar services available now, is that they kind of have like a 70 to 80 to 90% accuracy rate. We have 100, and we're very, very confident in that. But that being said, if at any time you don't like the content that SendPilot has written for you, one click and we can actually edit the whole post. We give you full control over everything. That's one of the biggest selling points for us, is we want to put you in control. Even though it's all written for you and automated, you're still in control of everything. So at this point, nothing has gone out to social media, nothing's scheduled. We're all in that review phase. So if I wanted to put, a while back we just published, I put, let's just say we published article, don't know, just a quick change. Click save and it'll change that post. Now, one of the really, really cool things about SendPilot is that it's contextually aware. So if we go up to the top, so sometimes what can happen is if we've got a date saying, like a scheduled date for the post is going out tomorrow or this week, it'll actually put, hey, we just published. So it'll use we just published, and then it'll introduce it. So it's understanding that, it's a new blog article and it's going out early. So we'll use we just published. Likewise, if we go all the way down and we've got something that's, so this post here is going out in 2019, and it's actually written a while back, we published this. So it's understanding that this is going out next year. So it wouldn't be appropriate to say, hey, we just published, but it's going to put a while back or last year, or recently we published this. So it's a really, really powerful way of kind of making sure that everything's personal and it's not just churning out stuff, because that's what we didn't want to do. So I'm happy with all of that. Okay, now this is a really, really cool thing. Going back to the discoverability element, is we can add trending hashtags. So if we give that a click, what this does is it pulls in all of the currently trending hashtags from for social media. So in one click, it's Friday today, isn't it? Yes, Friday. So Friday feeling, I'm feeling quite happy on Friday, so we'll pop that in, insert in one click, and there we go. It's added that hashtag straight in. So you don't need to go onto Twitter and look at what's trending and all that kind of thing. SendPilot tells you what's going on and what's current, and it tells you to pop it in if you want to. Right. If for some reason you really don't like the post, we've got a nice big red button here that I personally don't use that often. We can regenerate the post and it will write you a completely brand new post, just replacing that one. It won't replace the whole campaign. It'll just completely rewrite that post, and hopefully the next one's what you're looking for. Okay, so we've got a kind of quick breakdown of some of the social media profiles it's going to, and then the image. So this is where SendPilot is super, super powerful. So you get what's called an image bank or an image library, and we have 2 options here. The first being, you can obviously upload your own images. If you've created something, you've hired a graphic designer, upload your own images, that's fine. We can use that if you want to replace the image that's pulled from your blog article. Now, this is a really cool feature that we've spent a lot of time getting right, is we have integrated with Pexels. So we actually give you a stock photo library of over 10,000 super, super high-res images to add straight into your posts. So if you think this is fantastic for Instagram, obviously Instagram is all about quality, or Facebook, or keeping people engaged. So all you do is you click search for images. We are in marketing, so let's type in marketing. And then we've got some images, brings up those images we can add. Let's just add that one. One click, insert, and that's now changed the image to that, pulled in from Pexels. And that's going to be in a really, really high-res image. It's not going to be blurry or anything like that, so it's going to look really, really nice on social. Obviously, we give you complete unlimited access to that. There's no paying extra. You can add as many images as you want to your campaigns. It's all included within SendPilot. what we can also do is, let me just scroll over to a campaign. Here we go. So we can design our own graphic. If we give this button a click here, we get a really, really powerful social media graphic creation tool. Very, very similar to Canva. It's actually produced through our good friends at Design Bold. And you can essentially create your own graphic from scratch, or they have some really, really nice graphics that are already produced. They've got thousands and thousands of templates, all correctly sized for different social media platforms. Obviously Instagram accept different sizes and all that kind of thing. So they're all ready to go, and you can just either use that or you can make a change, do whatever you want. We give you full control over that. Once you're happy with that, you can download it, upload it, and it will be all there. So everything really is in one platform. You don't need to go to Canva and log in and have all these tabs open. It's all in one place for you now. Okay, so once I'm happy with the content, obviously the schedule is really, really important. So going back to what we talked about earlier, having a clear plan and a consistent social media schedule is crucial. So if we the way SendPilot works is it automatically schedules everything to drip feed across your profiles over the year. So it'll send one post out after 7 days, then the next one after 14, then after a month or 3 months, all the way up to a year. That's completely changeable and customizable. All you have to do is it shows you the scheduled date on each post. Give it one click, and you will be able to change the exact date and the exact time that the post will be sent out across your Facebook or your Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever you're using. So that's a really, really nice way of just making sure you've got that extra level of customization. So going back to some of the user feedback we had, some people were concerned about, what if I'm running like a 1 week campaign? I don't want to have to go through and change every single date individually. So we built a really, really cool feature that we call schedule templates. And I've actually created one. I'll show you how we create them later. But essentially what it is a template that has its own name. So for example, 1 week, and then it's got, it basically specifies the day of the year going forward for each post to go out. So if we're running a 1 week campaign, when I show you, it'll become a little bit clearer. We can create all of the scheduled dates to basically change all of the posts at once to match that 1 week timeline. So here I have one called 1 week. If we click use this, give it a few seconds. Now what this is doing is it's going through all of the posts and it's changing the scheduled date to match 1 week, so they're going out every day across the week. So it's a really, really quick way, so it means you don't have to go through and change everything individually. So we can see we've got 27th, 28th, 30th. It does it all automatically for you based on the dates that I specify in that template. It's a really, really powerful feature, really, really simple, but it will save you a huge amount of time, and it just adds to that, that level of automation that you're getting with SendPilot. So once I am happy with this campaign, which I am, I can click approve and schedule, and then here's that toggle to turn on the RSS feature, toggle it on, and then you're either prompted to double check just to make sure, because once they're out, you can cancel the campaign, but you can't change it after. Not yet, anyway. So we can double check, or we can say I'm sure, and then what that will do is it will push it all out. It'll schedule everything on our end. So if you're using Buffer, you can use the free Buffer plan, because no scheduling is actually done by a Buffer. It's all scheduled on our end. So we only use Buffer to actually distribute the posts to Facebook and your other social networks. So in this case, I didn't do it because I've scheduled this campaign about 1 million times in testing. So what that will do is it will create all those posts and it will schedule it all, so it's ready to go. And then what you get is a breakdown of all your posts on here. In this case, I didn't do them, but they're really, really simple cards that shows you the exact post image, the post content, the scheduled date, the profiles it's going to, And also, this is something that is coming out shortly after we close off the live call, is click tracking. So we'll be able to track the number of clicks that people have basically followed your link on Facebook. So when someone clicks on the link on Facebook, you'll get a real-time report of the number of clicks that it's generating. And then we're hoping at some point, don't quote me on this, at some point we'll be looking at adding demographics and deeper analytics into it as well. So you can kind of find out what region those people that are clicking are in and that kind of thing, just to help you kind of segment your customers and gain a bigger understanding. So really, really excited by that. And we'll do another live stream when that comes out. Probably just be me, or if Udi wants to join as well, we can demo that as well. So that is the main feature for turning blog content into social media posts. Everything you do is added to your own social media calendar. So we wanted to make sure that you kind of had a visual way of seeing when all your posts are due to go out. In my case, I have a habit of choosing today's date for everything. So all of my posts are due to go out today, which I'll obviously have to change after the call so we don't spam our Twitter page. But it gives you a breakdown of the time that we've chosen. So this is going out, or this was going out until I cancelled it at 12:17 a.m. And it's a really, really good way of visualizing everything. You can break that down by week or day or month. And obviously you can scroll through the months and see what's coming out next month and all that kind of thing. So it just helps you plan everything out, especially if you're working in an agency or a team, just so you know when everything's due to go out. Again, we also offer a feature called manual posting, where if you want to just drop a quick post, you've forgotten to advertise something or add some value, you can create a manual post where you just manually type in the content, choose an image, and add the scheduled date and click schedule. It's just a really, really simple way of doing it. Okay, fantastic. So let's jump back to the dashboard. So we have a few URL shortening options. At the moment, I prefer to have it on the SendPilot shortener. If you don't want that, that's fine. You can turn that off. You can use the Google shortener, or you can use no shortener, and it will just have the full URL of your blog post. We also have latest changes as well, so you can kind of keep up to date with what's going on, and we've got a link to the roadmap as well. So let's do a curation campaign. So if we click on new campaign and then find and share content, a couple of ways of doing this. We can either paste the article in, and what this will do is it'll analyze the topics like I said about, it'll understand what we're blogging about and curate the web for that. Or what we can do is, if we don't actually have a blog, or we want to try a different niche, we can click don't have a blog, and then we can select from some different topics or industries that we want to curate. Or if none of them fit, we can actually just type in keywords, so like dog food and cat food, for example. And what that's going to do is it's going to get some really interesting content from around the web in those industries, all about dog food or cat food, and it's going to create all those posts for us. So it's completely customizable. If the industries we've suggested aren't there, you can change that up. So for me, I prefer to do it via the article. Start curating, give it a few seconds, and it's now analyzing everything and it's pulling everything in. This can take a few seconds to get right.
I have to say, this is like very powerful.
This is
This is awesome. Very powerful.
So Reece, as far as like, can you make sure that, again, I don't want to get ahead of you on this, but the curated articles versus your blog articles, can you make sure that those are not on the same schedule?
Yes, you can. Yeah, so you get full control over the schedule for every campaign. Okay. So yeah, if you're not happy with the
do the curated articles go on to the automate, like you said you had that schedule builder, like, you know what I'm saying? I guess you're going to show us that in a bit.
Yes, like yes, I will show you that. Yeah.
Okay, so you can put curated articles and regular articles on those schedules.
Yes, you can. Yeah, yeah. So you awesome. Can use the.
That's great. That's
yeah,
huge.
There we go. Sorry, apologies. My internet is a little bit slow with streaming. Quite a lot. There we go. Fantastic. So what we've done here is SendPilot has curated everything, and it said, here are some relevant articles for your audience based on digital marketing. So that blog was obviously about digital marketing, social media marketing. So it's found some really, really cool content across the web. So we've got the Next Web, Forbes. Forbes is always in there somewhere. It's one of my favorite resources. And then we've got the image from that, and it's created a post. It's tagged or it's mentioned the Next Web or Forbes, and it's also added in title of the article and a call to action, as well as one of our hashtags. So we've kind of got those main components in that make up a good, engaging post. So if you're one of those people, which I used to be, where I had no idea what content to put in and all that kind of thing, we've done all the hard work, we've done all the research, we've actually used influence from some of the top social media agencies on how they structure their posts, and kind of just copied the structure into SendPilot and into the build system, so that you're always getting a post that has all of those key components for engagement. Again, we can add trending hashtags, or we can edit the post, change its schedule, and we can then push it out and it will do the exact same thing and schedule everything. So it's a really, really powerful feature, and one that it's going to save people a huge amount of time. You don't have to go to all these other websites now to find great content to share. It does it all for you in about 30 seconds. Okay, so let's just, sorry, was there a question?
No, I said that's awesome. That's so great.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, so obviously we give you full control. If you're not happy with a campaign, you can cancel a campaign if that's something you want to do. So let's try and create a...
Is it just possible to cancel a post instead of the entire campaign?
Not yet, no. So that's one of the things we're looking at. But the way everything gets scheduled, it's a little bit tricky to do that. It's one of those things that we are working on. That's why we kind of prompt you to double check at the end of it before you schedule it, just to give you that extra safety net.
But in the future, you're saying that we'll be able to edit the individual post after it has been already scheduled?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we're working on a way. So Nigel's my CTO, fantastic CTO. We're working on a way to be able to go back into campaigns, edit things, and then reschedule it, essentially.
Fantastic.
Okay, so schedule templates. We touched upon this. This is where we get to create a timeline. So we can call it, so for example, I don't know, 1 month campaign. And then we've got post 1, post 2, post 3 broken out to post 8. And this is where we get to choose the day of the year going forward. So 365 days from the point of that campaign's creation. We can say we want the first post to go out on the second day or whenever we want. And then like post 2 can go out day 3, et cetera, et cetera. Once you've filled all of those in, you can save it. And then going forward, when you create those campaigns, with one click, you can now add that whole schedule to the campaign. And it's all dynamic as well, so it'll take into account what the current day's date is and all that kind of thing. So it works really, really well.
I really like this. This actually is a huge time saver because I can create my own templates at any point of stage, and the way I want the scheduling to be done. And I think this can actually be very powerful because I have not seen any other platform actually giving the ability to create a template of your own schedule. Usually what most companies or most platforms they do is they would just do a default of, like, let's say 7 days or a single day or a month or a year, but no one has given the flexibility to create your own campaigns on your own preferred days. So for example, I would want my campaigns to be going out on, let's say, Tuesday and Thursdays only, right? So I'll just create a template of that saying that, hey, Tuesdays and Thursdays only. And every single week, there will be a blog post that will be posted on my social media profiles on Tuesday and Thursday, because I know my audience are very engaging on only Tuesdays and Thursdays, right? So this is
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
and this can become very powerful. Or I can create, for example, a theme for every single day. Every Monday, I can post about marketing. Every Tuesday, I can post about, let's say, uh, something with regards to Facebook. Every Wednesday, I can post something with regards to social media in general. Every Thursday, I can post about something about SEO, for an example. And then, since we have the curated post available, it can start fetching up a similar post from different websites and curate everything up there for every single week for different themes. And that is when I think this can become very powerful.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's an incredibly powerful feature. It's a very simple feature, actually. Someone suggested, and we built it, and it kind of blew us away as well, and blew them away. So it's a really powerful thing.
You know,
Okay.
sometimes like the most simplest features
Yeah,
can become your
I
most
know.
powerful feature.
Right, I think let's jump into. I'm sure what a lot of people are waiting for is the agency side.
Hmm.
So I have so many tabs open with different versions. Right, there we go. So the agency platform. This is something we've actually spent a lot of time building. We actually built it for the release with PitchGround. We didn't have it before. But what we're trying to do is offer a white label solution for agencies to essentially have their own social media scheduling platform that they can share with their clients, share with their team. Even to some extent, and this is a slightly longer vision, is being able to create their own, almost like a software company, and almost have their own version of SendPilot, which is going to be really, really powerful. And obviously, not many other people are doing that. I don't know anyone else is doing that. And the big thing is obviously customization and the white label side to that. So what we allowed you to do when you first sign up is you'll be taken through the onboarding setup where you'll create your first client, and you will have some branding options. So let me show you the branding options menu. With the branding options menu, we kind of give you an example of how everything works. So you get to change the logo. I created this logo and just uploaded it as a template. So now any areas where the SendPilot logo was, it'll now be your agency's logo. Likewise, just copy and paste that so I can put it back. The button and UI colors are completely customizable as well. So instead of the SendPilot blue, you can actually put whatever color you want, or if you know your hex code, you can paste it in, click choose, and it'll give you a preview of what that looks like. So let's go back to the nice green to match our brand. And then your agency name, you can obviously put that whatever you want. This is actually a very powerful thing because what it does is it also adds it to the tab name as well. So when you've got clients coming on, they won't see SendPilot up in the tab bar, they'll see your agency's name. So it's a really, really powerful thing. We've really thought out how we can make that white label system as in-depth as possible. So I'm happy with that, so I can just save it or close it because it's already saved. So this is one of my clients, Udit, on the dashboard. Essentially, you can add up to 10 clients with the 5-code stacked deal. And then we also offer more clients. You can have unlimited clients, but you have to pay on a monthly basis for those. We offer those through some add-ons in the platform. So adding a client is super, super easy. You just literally click new client, upload their image, enter their client name and a client email. And what this will do is it will create an account for them, link that account to you as the agency and the controller of them. And it will send them an email saying, appearing from you, saying, we've just invited you to our platform. Here's the link to sign in. And it will give them a link to their own branded client dashboard where they can log in. And I will show you that now. Here we go. So this is essentially what the client will see when they log in. They don't see any SendPilot branding. They just see your colors and your logo up top. And that's exactly the same when they log in with their client credentials. They're taken through to the dashboard, which is essentially a slightly more restricted version of the dashboard I showed earlier. They're not able to create their own posts. They are only able to review and see what you've been working on and what you're posting. We are working on a feature to allow them to create their own posts and then kind of have you as the agency authorize it. But that's on the roadmap. That's coming out shortly. Okay, and then obviously you've got your client portal link here. So anytime you forget, you can always just send your clients that link so they can log into their portal, and that's all linked to you as well, obviously. One of the biggest things, and this is something that's obviously becoming more important now, is security. So we designed SendPilot to actually allow your clients to log into their client portal and then log into their Facebook, their Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, without having to give you their email address and password, or username and password. And then when they log in securely on their end, it'll authorize you automatically to act as their agency and publish to all their social media accounts on their behalf. So they don't have to send you all their credentials over email or anything like that where it could potentially get lost. It's all really, really secure and all handled by the client. So they get full control. And it also puts their mind at rest as well. If they know there's any problems, they can just deauthorize you in their Facebook or Twitter account, and it severs that connection. So it's a really, really powerful way of doing it. We also offer buffer integration as well if you prefer to use that. So what else we have? We have a quick kind of breakdown of how many campaigns this client has, how many posts they have. We'll also have like clicks and that kind of thing coming very shortly. And also the team feature, which is coming out in the next few days. You'll be able to add 5 team members, or you can pay to have more. These team members, you as the agency admin, you get full control over them and what clients they can manage. So all you would do is you click team access, and then it will show you your whole team, and you can actually just toggle on or off what team has access to which clients, because obviously you don't want to have your whole team having access to everyone. So we give you fine-grained control over who has access to what. Okay, so really, really simple dashboard. Once I'm ready to manage a client, all I do is click manage, give it a few seconds. Hopefully my internet will not let me down. Give it a second. There we go. Cool. Fantastic. So we're now in the managing the client. As you can see, everything is still branded with our agency colors, and it shows you what client we are managing. And at the moment, we've got no posts for this client. All of the posts on the dashboard are broken out by when they're going out. So if we've got some going out today, this text here will say today, and it'll have all the posts going out today, and then this week and later, and so on and so forth. And from here on in, it's exactly the same process as what I demoed earlier. So you just do a launch new campaign. It'll then take you through all the other wizards and setups and everything like that. And the default hashtag, the default link shortening for agencies is not the SendPilot one. It's no shortener whatsoever. So you don't need to worry about that. Your clients will not know that you're using SendPilot. It won't be in the link shortener at all. So we've covered all bases on that. So that is essentially the agency platform. Very, very, very powerful. Your clients can log in. They can see everything that you're doing. They get full control. You also get full control over your agency as well. And we also have white label domain coming out as well. That's coming out Friday. We're looking at a Saturday to Sunday release for white label domain. And that will mean you'll just have a whole version of SendPilot hosted on your own domain name, and nobody will know that you're using SendPilot. So it's a really, really great way of making your agency look like a huge corporation, or even having your own software company, essentially, that you can brand as yourself and do all of that. For us, we try to make it as affordable as possible, because as you grow, and we want to help you get more and more money and bring on more clients. And as you bring those in, if you're charging them maybe $500-600 a month, or even some agencies may do thousands a month from each client, you're only paying us roughly $10 per client for all of this value and all of this that we're providing for you for all of the white label agency plans. So it's an incredible way of kind of scaling your agency and giving you this huge infrastructure to manage as many clients as you want on. And that pretty much brings me to the end of the walkthrough. As I say, we've got a huge amount of features coming out. I know me and Udit are going to be working very, very closely on bringing all of those out and shouting about it as much as we can. One thing I will touch upon is we do have desktop apps. So we have an app for Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. So that means you can actually download and install the app. So you won't need to have it in your browser. Let me show you what that looks like now. So this is the Mac OS app. It's essentially exactly the same, but you install it and you can have it in your dock. So I've got it down here in SendPilot. So it's a really, really powerful way of having everything where you need it and not having to go on to the browser and log in and all that kind of thing. So that is pretty much everything for me. I think we can open to questions or however you wanted to go forward, Udit.
Oh, Reece, I had one question about the white label version. You were talking about possibly making it where people could actually have their own software. Is there anything like maybe a Zapier sign up where maybe someone could sell it from like a cart software and then maybe send a Zap to be able to have that account set up automatically?
That's an interesting idea. It's not something we had previously thought about. But we have the possibility of opening up an API, so we can do that. It's something that I won't commit to at the moment, but if enough people want it, we can definitely look into doing that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's really brilliant. I think the agency feature itself is very powerful, and that's something that I told Ty as well when we were doing Market Plan IO, that it really opens up so much possibilities for agencies, because they have been like wanting such tools for a long time for their own brands. And most of the agencies out there, they have been very hungry driven, because many a times they just want to brand out their own services, or they just want to brand out their own platform, and this really gives them an opportunity. And so far I have personally not yet seen any single social media white label SaaS out there that is completely white label as of now. And the problem, what happens is when you try to invite your clients to some other platform, usually what happens is those customers would start eventually paying to that platform. They would quit using you at that point of stage when they understand the possibility and the power of the software itself. And what happens is you eventually lose a client. So let's say if I'm charging my client $200 to post on different social media every single month, right? Or let's say even $100, when they see that, oh, this software can do it for like $20 or like $40, why would I need them, right?
Yeah.
So at that point of stage, they are like, why do I need them? And rather, now, instead of selling that as a service, they can just sell it as a software and then upsell it, which Ty and I did one of the webinars previously where we were talking about how you can start small and then slowly start upselling people. And this is something that we did in our 5th webinar where we were talking about pricing, that start something small. And when you can start selling your software at $50 per month or $100 per month, at that point you can start upselling them different kind of services. For example, a full-fledged social media campaigns that you can run, or Facebook ads that you can run, or different kinds of Facebook Live, or any other campaigns that could be that we can run. So all those power can really come in when you're running as an agency. And now imagine if I can really combine Market Plan IO's agency plan with SendPilot's agency plan together, where I can go back into my Market Plan IO dashboard, design the entire social media funnel, and then come back to my SendPilot agency plan and actually schedule them, everything with just a single click. This, for an agency, is a gold mine right out there. Yeah. You can charge people $500 to $1,000 per month for just scheduling everything and managing and maintaining this entire infrastructure. And for you, you know that it's just going to take you maybe like a days of time, or maybe like less than a days of time, right? But if you can spend just like few hours and start generating $1,000 a day, which we have seen people already doing that with Market Plan IO. I remember Doc Williams, he closed in like a client. It's a matter of just like a day or two the moment he showed I was able to close my first $1 billion client with Marketplace.io, which was stuck for like months in terms of like discussion, ongoing discussion, what was going on. And now when you have the entire social media agency as well, I think this is where the power really comes in for a lot of agency owners who have been like dreaming to have their own buffer, or they have been dreaming to have their own hot suit. And we all know the valuation of hot suit right now. So imagine that tomorrow, like if you just start selling your platforms, and even the social media platforms, which is a need for every single company who goes online today, this can be very powerful.
Mm. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what we're trying to do. I mean, the more money that you guys make as agencies, the more we can grow. So that's what we're really, really trying to encourage. And if you have any suggestions to, I mean, just on my part, but I'm sure for Ty as well, any suggestions to make what we do more valuable, then please let us know, because we're 100% all open ears at SendPilot to that.
So Reece, like, how does your roadmap currently looks like? If you can just share your roadmap.
Yeah. Okay. Bear with me 2 seconds. I will just pull it up. Let's have a look. So we have the SendPilot roadmap on the homepage on the SendPilot website. I'm just going to load it up on my end. And then share it with you. But we're using Trello for the roadmap, and it's a public board. So please feel free to log in and submit a suggestion to us. We also have a column for any, if you find any issues or bugs, you can let us know about it, and we will kind of keep everything on there and update as we go along. So let's see if that's going to load for me. Cool. Okay, share. Perfect. Okay, can you see that on your end?
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is essentially the public SendPilot roadmap. This is where we've got everything categorized into ideas. So some of the cool ideas we've had or suggestions from some of our users. Into working on it, which is features we're actively working on, into completed. And then obviously we've got a bug reporting issue here. So far we've had no bugs reported, which is good. So please, anytime, feel free to jump on. I can give you a quick walkthrough of some of the options we do have. So some of the stuff we're working on at the moment is the analytics suite and click tracking. Again, that will allow people to understand how many clicks they're getting through the posts. Facebook Go Live, so you can literally click a button, it'll connect straight to your Facebook, and then it will pop up a little window, and you'll be going live directly to your whole Facebook audience, or however you're managing it, all within SendPilot. Team access, sharing access with your team, native connections to Facebook and Instagram. So this is one thing, in case we get any questions on it. Facebook and Instagram, they're coming out in the next few days. Facebook has decided to have a very frustrating and strenuous new review process that we're now having to go through, but we're luckily coming out at the end of that. So they'll be out very, very shortly. We still obviously do support Facebook and Instagram directly through Buffer or Zapier at the moment. So feel free to use those for the next couple of days until we activate direct connection to Facebook and Instagram. So don't be too concerned about that. It's just obviously with all Facebook's recent things that have gone on, they're very, very strenuous on what apps can do at the moment.
Definitely. We have the Facebook API integration with ConversionFly, and we know the story, Reece.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I'll tell you about the story. It's not fun.
Yeah, Nigel, my CTO, has been working day and night, recording videos of him talking how we need it all, and it's a let's leave that one. Some of the other ideas we've got going on are creating your own branded URL. So that's where you can have your own custom URL shortener. That's something we're playing around with. We're looking into that and how we can do that. This is something that's actually really, really cool, and will actually become a third feature, is using popular quotes and inspirational quotes and creating posts out of those. So you've probably seen them on Instagram and other places where people post influential quotes, maybe from Steve Jobs or Gary Vee or whoever. We will be able to basically allow you to select a category like, I don't know, fitness motivation, for example, and then we'll pull in a load of great quotes and fitness motivation and create posts from that as well. So it's just an extra option outside of content curation and the blog article to social media campaigns. So it'll be a third feature set. That's a really, really exciting thing we're playing around with.
Reece, sorry to interrupt you, but
Sure.
when you spoke about this particular feature, I just want to share one of my clients who are actually into health and motivational category.
Okay.
They did something brilliant. So what they did was they started curating. So I think even when I tell them about this, they'll fall in love, because what they did was they started getting all the quotes and images and everything from Pinterest. They started collecting it and they started scheduling upfront on a platform like Buffer earlier, and they had to do it manually, the entire process. But even though they did it manually, today they have generated over $1 million in sales. But that took them almost a year and a half or 2 years to build that process of manually downloading it. They hired a virtual assistant, and then they started scheduling it. And what they started doing was they started putting up those images on their Instagram and on their Facebook page, and they started spending about $2 on every single post just to give a boost to it. And usually what happens is when people see some kind of motivational stuff or any kind of quote, they naturally tend towards sharing it. That's what we have seen. So what they did was they created over 300,000 likes on their Facebook page while doing that. And since this was their direct audience, they started retargeting them very aggressively, because they went into Facebook ads, Facebook custom audience, and they created a custom engagement at that point. So whoever has engaged, and then they started showing the ads immediately. So I think this can be very powerful if you combine that and just create a custom audience with your Facebook engagements. I think this can really be a game changer for so many people.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it goes back to what we touched on earlier, where you're creating that emotional connection with people, and inspirational quotes and that kind of thing are a huge gateway to doing that. So once we get that out there, it's just, it's going to be incredible. And as you say, it'll do wonders for people's engagement, especially if they haven't got that much engagement already. Just by sharing that kind of thing is, people love it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's have a look at what else we got going on. So one of the great suggestions we had was Pinterest and Quora integrations. Please at any time log in and you can leave comments. I think you need a Trello account to do it, but you'll be able to leave comments on there, give it a vote. So if you see something that you really, really want, please do let us know, because obviously the more comments and interest we have on different roadmap ideas, the more priority we're going to give to that one idea. Okay. So, mobile app, we're working on. Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say mobile app. Everyone likes mobile apps. We're working on a native iOS and Android application. Let me move that into working. I'll do it later. Working on it. But yeah, we're working on those. I haven't got a timeline for that just yet. But essentially, we'll be able to allow you to log in on your phone, play around with your social media calendar, see when everything's going out, all that kind of thing. So you'll be able to do all that on the go. So look forward to that. SendPilot WordPress plugin. This was something I know you were a big fan of, and I think Raj suggested it. We had some great suggestions on the Facebook page.
Right.
But yeah, this is something that obviously is going to create a huge amount of value. I mean, could you just elaborate a little bit on how you saw that working, Udit?
Yeah, so a lot of people suggested that what a lot of people do is they have a lot of blogs out there, right? And managing those blogs can be really time consuming and tedious, because you have to log into different platforms and you have to maintain a lot of things. So instead of doing that, have you ever played around with uh, uh, the WP admin, like where you have like one main control panel of WordPress, and then you kind of like create a mini WordPress. But instead of doing that, they can keep installing their WordPress, and they can just install a SendPilot WordPress plugin, or grab the API for that particular website. They can go back into SendPilot, enter the URL, enter the API key, and it connects to that particular blog. Now I can just submit a blog post right from SendPilot.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be something that even moves us out of just social media and moves us onto blog distribution, which
Exactly.
is going to be really, really cool.
Now imagine that if you combine that with some kind of article spinning services, and if I have, let's say, 100 blogs, right? I can just distribute one content, integrated with something like Word AI, which is extremely powerful today. And boom, with just a click of a button, I have 100 blog posts submitted and curated in 100 of my blog.
Yeah, it's you touched upon article spinning. That's something that I've been playing around with a long time now, because I love all the AI and all that kind of area, and natural language processing and all that sort of stuff. So the article spinning and summarization of content into new content is something that I've been working a lot in, and is something I intend on bringing out. It would probably work very, very well alongside the WordPress plugin. So it could be kind of like a dual launch of that, and also article spinning as well. Obviously, we definitely can't commit to a timeline, but that's something that I have every intention of implementing.
Yeah, I think the reason why that would be helpful to most people is because, man, WordPress, as great as WordPress is, the thing that WordPress doesn't allow is like a nice, clean, white writing space.
Yeah.
Finding a lot of people, like with MarketPlan.io, we're finding a lot of people are liking that they can just have a nice white space. We have a full screen on there, and like Reece, if you're able to do that, man, like, and then schedule it, that would be huge, because people would say, okay, like I can write for 5 different blogs that I have within my niche. I can write all of those posts, put the pictures on them, and then literally hit a button and be like, set it live. And then not just that, but now SendPilot is taking that post and then putting a bunch of pieces together.
Exactly.
That is huge. I mean, that's saving hours. You're saving.
Yeah.
We were talking about marriage earlier. I think it's high time that MarketPlan.io and SendPilot really marries.
Yeah, it would work very, very well. Yeah, 100%.
Because it really works hand in hand. While you're planning, you need something for execution, right? So I think this is where the execution part could come in, because SendPilot is already powerful, and it's getting more powerful every single day, while MarketPlan.io keeps getting more powerful for better planning for everything. So I really think that both the tools, if they're natively integrated, it can be some next generation marketing automation is something that we're talking about.
Yeah,
that is huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay, let me see. The last thing we have on here, definitely last thing, is agency plans. So allowing clients to submit posts or draft posts in their own dashboard, and then have the agency actually review that. That's for the agency, at least, we want them to be in full control, because that's what the client is essentially hiring the agency for. If we gave them full control and allowed them to just create their own posts, it kind of cuts the agency out and makes them redundant. So that's what we don't want to be doing. As I say, we want you guys to be making the money so that we can grow through that. So yeah, allowing clients to submit ideas, submit draft posts, and then have you actually produce the production ready version of that. That's something we're working on, and something we're very, very keen to get out the door.
Fantastic. So I've almost kind of like answered most of the questions that people have asked for, but okay. I'm still just going to ask you some of the questions that
sure.
I think your answer would be fantastic. So one of the first question is from Mario, and he said, when can we expect, or does SendPilot right now has the ability to find the relevant trending hashtags or just trending hashtags, and it can pull contents accordingly.
So we have a couple of different ways we work with hashtags. So initially, at the moment, we have the static hashtags which you can upload, and well, you can enter in and save, and it will use those. Or we allow you to add the currently trending hashtags. One of the other things we're working on, and we actually have ready, but we just haven't deployed yet, is intelligent hashtags. Well, we call them intelligent hashtags. So when we're understanding the content that you're blogging about, we can suggest intelligent hashtags based on that content. Again, if it's like, I don't know, social media marketing, we can suggest hashtag social media marketing. So it's all dynamic and based on the content that you're putting out. So you can change it as opposed to just having static hashtags that you create for when you first start. Does that answer the question? I'm not too sure if I've answered that fully or.
Yes, it does. But again, the question was more specific towards the trending hashtags, because sometimes what happens is I need to just understand what is trending in marketing, and I can just click on trending tags. When I click on that, I can see here are the trending tags in marketing, and then I can just pull all those posts and schedule it for my social media.
Okay, so it's more categorization. That's not something we have on the roadmap, just from the way it works. So when we pull the hashtags from us, we can only actually refine it by the country or the region. That the API, so the service that we're using, allows us to only basically say we want US hashtags or XYZ hashtags. We can't pull in the categories, but that is something I'll look into doing it and see how we can do that.
Maybe you can look into Twitter's API, because Twitter is fantastic when it comes to really understanding. And I think Google has recently started providing some hashtags for their trends. So what you can possibly do is you can integrate Google Trends, because usually if something is trending, then people will start searching for it, right? And when they start searching for it, you are able to get those keywords out there, right? So I think if you possibly look into Google Trends API as well, then it should be fairly easy to implement. Google has an amazingly robust API solutions out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we use Twitter already to pull that through. So I think it's probably just looking at an extension of how we can do that. Yeah, absolutely. We'll look into that.
All right, fantastic. So Mario, just to answer your question, it's there, but in order to get more specific and categorized, it's coming soon. And as we have just discussed, Reece is probably going to look into the Google Trends API as well, and we'll see how soon can be implemented, and we'll keep you guys updated through the groups, and Reece will keep you guys updated as well.
Fantastic.
So the next question is from Hassan, and he's asking, how many users per agency clients are out there? And he was asking if instead of one user, which I answered, instead of that, can they actually have 3 users per client in their agency license?
3 users per client. So you get, with the agency package, you get 5 team members.
Oh, brilliant. I thought it was 1. So there you go, Hassan. You actually have 5 and not 3.
Yeah, so you get yourself, so you're the administrator, and you can obviously manage everything. And then as well as yourself, you get 5 team members, so you can bring your team of 5 on, and then you can assign as many of your team as you want, so 3 if you want, to one client. So you can do that. If you have more team members, we also offer add-ons for adding extra team members in. So yeah, that's all included.
Fantastic. So now the next question is from Mob, and he's asking, do the app has got any kind of offline or flight mode ability? So he's talking about the desktop app.
Okay, so it doesn't, no, so it doesn't at the moment, just because everything is obviously stored and managed server side, so on our servers. So we don't have any flight mode or offline capability. We don't have any plans for that at the moment, just because I don't think, we don't have any plans for that at the moment, unfortunately. Yeah.
Brilliant. So
yeah, I know that's not an easy feature to build.
Yeah,
we had that request from MarketPlan.io too. It's like well, how do we actually do that? It's like we actually thought like, well,
I actually
we
have a
gotta
suggestion.
figure it out.
I actually have a
Especially when you
suggestion
go
for
to the
you
native
guys.
side, the
I
native
actually
mobile app may help with that. Is my
I
point.
actually have
Yeah.
a suggestion for you guys. What you guys can do is start using local storage. So every single browser today has got local storage feature where people can just create and start, and everything gets stored in the local storage. So now what you can do is you can probably build a connectivity where the moment there is an internet that gets received, then that local storage is going to get connected to your app, and all the data will
Just
be
offload it.
yes, exactly. So local storage is something that you guys can possibly use
Yeah, we
for.
talked about it in our scrum. We talked about possibly doing like cache offloading, or there's a lot of different methods. So,
Mhm.
but it's not an easy thing.
Yeah,
That's
it sounds
wanna-
easy.
Never is.
It
that's not
sounds
the
easy. It sounds easy, you know.
Yeah, it's you can say it in one sentence, but you spend a lot more time doing it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So, Ty, this question is for you actually. I don't know. Let me see if you can answer this. So Fred is asking, will Conversion Fly ever make it to PitchGround? He has a wishful thinking. Hashtag.
Will Conversion Flight ever make it to PitchGround? I don't know. You might have to like come over here to Florida and like hold my hands behind my back and say we're doing it.
Dude, I love to fly to Miami anyways.
Oh,
This
come
gives
on.
me the reason.
You fly to Florida and then maybe then I don't know. Like, we'll see. Gosh.
Fantastic. All right. So the next question is from Ob as well, and he's asking, can we curate our own quotes, select our own influencers, and add our own quotes as well?
No, you can't at the moment. That's a possibility. You can't in the current state of the platform, but we can add that to the roadmap on the ideas phase. Yeah, I can see how we could definitely do that. I can see how we could do it. Thinking how we built it.
Reece, how are you collecting ideas right now? You guys just doing it through the chat on the bottom there, just collecting them and tagging people? I just want to find
So-
that people can come to bring these suggestions, because I know sometimes road mapping, it's tough to do when
Yeah.
you get asked a bunch of questions and stuff. It's better to just kind of figure out, okay, where's a great place for them to kind of request that, or can they add it to this board? I know sometimes that's hard to do when the devs are working from this board. You don't want people to just start writing doodles and stuff on there.
Yeah.
You get that part. So I don't know, maybe if they know whether to just suggest it in the chat or wherever, what's a good space for that?
Yeah, great question. So the Trello board is completely public, so anyone could go on there and submit an idea to us. So if you have any ideas, please do go onto the Trello board. You can find it on our website, so www.sendpilot.co. .co. In the footer, we've got the product roadmap. If you click on that, sign in with your Trello account, and you'll be able to submit those ideas to us. We obviously track everything on there. I'll also drop the link in the Facebook group after the live chat, so that you can just click straight through and add anything on there. But yeah, please, if you want any ideas looked at and commented on by us, please do submit it to our ideas roadmap, and then we can say, yeah, this is happening, or no, we can't do this at this time.
Fantastic. So
Nice.
there's a question from John. He's asking about how do I buy the agency. So John, you can just head to pitchground.com/sendpilot, click on the buy now button, and you will see that you have 5 options. So you can just select 5 coupons and just get your agency plan right away, and start selling to your clients right away. So the next question is from Soumya. She's asking if it's possible to add YouTube trends as well.
Not at the moment. YouTube Trends is a little bit different. I'm not too sure how we would. Obviously, when you post through us, it's either going to Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or something. So I'm not too sure how we would, what value we could provide in providing YouTube Trends, just because obviously it's a different platform. So what's trending on YouTube may have nothing trending on the other platforms. So I don't think at this time that would offer too much value for you as the user. But I mean, I thank you for the suggestion. We can look into it, but I'm not too sure whether it would help you really get that engagement that you're going for. It would be better to look at Facebook trends or Twitter trends.
Reece, speaking of videos, actually, I have a question myself.
Yeah.
Is it possible to integrate, let's say, Vimeo, YouTube, and a bunch of other video platforms out there, so that we can actually distribute our videos as well through one platform? Because that's one of the most pain areas I have seen for a lot of companies, including myself. There are a few desktop apps available, but they're pretty complicated and at the same time not really done well. So is it possible for you to add that into the roadmap so I can have,
Yeah.
because I think that's one thing that no other platform currently offers.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we can definitely add that into the roadmap. We would see it would probably work. I'm just thinking it would probably work directly to the networks. It may not work through obviously Zapier or Buffer. So you'd have to be connected
Yeah, it
directly
has to be
to
native.
Facebook.
So for example, that one video can be posted on my Facebook page,
Yeah.
my profile, my YouTube channel, my Vimeo channel, then my Twitter account, my Instagram. Obviously, like Twitter and Instagram has got a certain restrictions on the minute count, and then LinkedIn as well. So I can just distribute all my videos all together with just a single click, beyond the typical social media.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we can definitely look into. Let me add that to the roadmap. I'm just going to log in and I'll add that.
So
that
guys,
in.
if you have like any suggestions apart from Vimeo and YouTube where you would like your videos to be distributed, and if the platform provides an API, please reach out to Reece or me or Ty and just let us know
Yeah.
what you guys need, and we'll be more than happy. Or you can just head to the Trello and you can just leave a comment over there. And I would love SendPilot to really grow.
Yeah, I just the thought of the video there just triggered a memory. We're working on a Giphy setup, so you'll be able to put like GIFs and that kind of thing into post just to add to that kind of interaction. But currently, if you upload one, it works fine. But we want to directly integrate with Giphy as a service. Then you can find one and pop it straight in. So yeah, that's another little thing we're working on.
So John has a question. Any Black Friday special for SendPilot?
Yeah, we're running a Black Friday through to Cyber Monday special offer where you can actually stack the unlimited agency plans. So if you want to buy 2 or 3 of the agency plans, so they're five codes each, you can stack those and then you'll get 20 clients or 30 clients and 10 team members or 15 team members. Essentially just multiply it by how many stack deals you've got. And we're only running that from Black Friday until Cyber Monday. So if you do want to get more clients forever and not have to worry about the monthly subscription, then go for that, because it won't be happening again.
All right. So John is asking again, do you support LinkedIn and Instagram posts? So I think LinkedIn
Yes.
is already out there. Instagram is still under works at the moment.
Yeah, so LinkedIn works fine natively. You can connect straight to LinkedIn. Works great. We do support Instagram at the moment, but that's through Buffer or Zapier. I think they have a connector on there now. But we have the native connection, so the direct connection to Instagram and Facebook coming out in the next few days. We're just waiting on Facebook's new app review process to give us the go-ahead. But yeah, it's all coming out, so don't be too concerned about that.
Brilliant. So Hassan is still asking, you didn't really answer my question. 5 team members for agency plan. Okay, so now it allows me 10 clients, each have their own access. So Hassan, what he's trying to say is each of your client can add up to 5 users already, not one. So let's say if you are a team member, if you have client A, and if they have a team of 5 people, then they can add up to 5 team members inside that one login of that particular client. So earlier it was just 1, but now it's 5. I hope we are able to answer your question, Hassan. Hello?
Is that all good?
We're
Yeah,
here, Yuri.
yeah. We had like an awkward moment of silence. I was
We're not too sure what happened. I don't
Well,
know
we
who
thought
we.
you were going to read the next question, and you just started saying
Yeah.
no.
So I think that's it pretty much. We have pretty much answered
Fantastic.
all the questions, and rest of the questions I've already answered in the chat. So if anyone has any questions, they can go over it. But yeah, guys, during the Black Friday, for just 3 days, Reece has agreed, and Reece is saying that you can stack in as many codes as you want, especially for the agency licenses. So let's say if you're stacking in a total of 10 or 15 codes, or so let's take an example of 10 codes, and at that point, so you get up to 20 clients. Each client will have up to 5 user accounts available at that point of stage, and that's only available during Black Friday to Cyber Monday. So I would recommend, if you are planning to make it big with your agency, and do not want to pay monthly, then this is a very good opportunity for you out there, because we don't really design any of our plans, because we really want to support both the founders as well as make it a win-win situation for the users as well. But Reece is just being a little more generous, and he's just allowing it during the Black Friday for you guys. So that's something that you can really consider. So John is asking one more question: can we add our own custom link shortener?
Not yet. So custom link shorteners are on the roadmap.
So let me ask you another question with regards to link shorteners.
Yeah.
Reece. Is it possible? So there are a lot of link shorteners out there. So there are platforms like Replug. There are platforms like Rocket Link or
Mhm.
Bitly, for an example. So is it possible for you to kind of like build a mini link shortener inside the app itself, so that people won't need like 2-3 different applications again?
That's actually something I had a look at. It's not as easy as doing that because obviously, well, what we found through creating the SendPilot one, we tried Bitly, we tried Rebrandly. We had to go a little bit more in depth, and we had to use C names and set up some different records in our domain registrar account. So it's not as easy as, we don't have full control over that. So I think you'd likely need to do a little bit more. There'll be more upheaval on the user's end, and we wouldn't be able to manage all of it. So we can kind of try and take as much away from that as you as possible. But I don't think it would be a full end-to-end solution, just like having a mini Bitly within SendPilot. It just wouldn't be possible from a technology point of view, where we're at the moment.
Brilliant. So I hope, John, that answers your question. So you will be able to add your own link shortener soon, and Reece will be doing a lot more integrations. I think a lot of people will be actually waiting for Bitly integration as well, since Bitly is quite popular. So I think that's something that needs to be looked into as well.
Yeah, can I just quickly mention, actually, this is something that we've only just decided on about 10 minutes before the call, is we had a lot of interest in other languages, Spanish, Portuguese, Dutch, all these great languages that people wanted. So what we're doing is we're actually opening up a system where if you're from France, we will send you a few common phrases and call to actions, and if you can just translate those for us, we'll actually be able to build that into our post compiler and all that kind of thing, and then we'll support your native language. So that means you'll be able to create posts in French, in Spanish, in whatever. So the more people that contribute to that and help us build that in, the more languages SendPilot will support. At the moment, we've already got Vietnamese locked down, so we've got some more coming in shortly. So yeah, soon we're going to be global, we're going to be international, and it won't just be English posts. So really, really excited.
Fantastic. So there's a question from Jerry, and he's saying that he's going to be picking up the agency plan for SendPilot, but he's asking Ty if there's going to be an opportunity for Market Plan Agency to open up during Black Friday.
The lifetime deals of life. Right? No, I think that we do have something special. Yudit and I have been talking about regarding Market Plan, so be on the lookout for that. But I think the lifetime deal right now, right, Yudit, that we've kind of that was that period of time. Now it's SendPilot's opportunity to fly. and was let converts time to fly before that. So we're excited about the new deals that are coming on the PitchGround platform as well. But the thing I love about Udit and Aaron is that they're able to be founder first and really allow us to understand how to build. Because really, honestly, the only thing that's going to keep MarketPlan or SendPilot or any of the platforms that we've launched on PitchGround, only other lifetime deal platforms that have gone out of business. Platforms that have released an LTD, and because it wasn't a founder first movement, those apps have died. So the goal is to try to build community around those things, and that's what I love about Aaron and Udit. And one of the biggest reasons why there was even an LTD for MarketPlan IO is because Udit convinced me about this founder-first platform called PitchGround, which really makes the difference for us, because as founders, we work in a lot of hours. As you know, Reece and I, we both on this call, and we have 16 other things to do. Not to mention Udit's massive list of things he should be doing right now. But the reality comes down to the fact that, we do these because we love people. And that's the reason why we're so focused on making these businesses. And that's why the reason why we have to structure them as software as service is because we want to make something great, and making something great takes time. And so we have a time versus cash issue. And that's why we ask people that are really in founder first, like Udit. I mean, it's a godsend to know that we have people like Udit that are founder first and understand the process of growing. I can tell you personally from my own experience that Udit jumped on a call after the lifetime deal with us and started structuring and planning our post-engagement, post-lifetime deal sequences to make sure that not only are we successful, but that we're able to provide those who grab the lifetime deal. And not only that, but offering future deals as well through PitchGround that are going to allow you guys to grow as well, but also give us the ability to be able to support this app and get our devs paid and pay the bills, because we have to at some point, right? At some point, we want to be break even on all the projects that we bring. And listen, we are excited to be able to offer deep discounts on PitchGround that are going to allow our stuff to grow slowly at the same time. So, man, I can answer that question by thanking you. That's really the best.
I don't know what to say after that long emotional speech. So I'm quite speechless right now. So I'm actually just going to look for the next question.
Okay, good.
I have nothing else to say right now.
Okay. That was a really good answer, Ty. That was a very good answer. I would have, very, very, very good.
So I said, I'm like so emotional. Like I have nothing to say after that. For the next question.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so Ob is asking, just a moment. So Ob is asking, could we add a global calendar to see an overall engagement schedule on any account with regards to agency perspective, I suppose?
Okay. So a global all client calendar. It's not out. Let me just think if it's, it should be possible. It shouldn't actually take too long. Yeah, we can look into that, definitely.
Brilliant. So Ob, regarding PayPal link, I'm just going to PM you after, or Aaron is going to PM you right away after our webinar is over. So he's going to reach out to you. So even John is saying, please bring back MarketPlan. I missed it. So guys, we have something coming up for Black Friday with MarketPlan. Just to break down, it's not going to be a lifetime deal, but it's going to be an amazing yearly deal that you cannot say no to. And always remember that you need to look into your ROI as well. If you're investing $1 a month, and if you're able to make $10 a month back from it, it's actually positive ROI, positive for you. So always look into that aspect, and then make a strategic decision. If something that can save you time, and if something that can save you money as well, and it's giving you positive ROI, then don't stop yourself from getting that software. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be necessarily the software that we are doing. It can be anything, right? a lot of people were earlier still using Buffer because it's because of the simplicity of the platform. And that's something that SendPilot wanted to bring into SendPilot, was the simplicity of the software, ease to use of the software, rather than some so many complicated softwares out there. They were trying to do so many things that when I would log in, I would be confused where to begin with. And that's something that even Ty wanted to solve as well with his platform, especially with Market Plan. Like whenever you log in, it's so that simple that you exactly know, click here and get going. And the same thing Reece implemented in SendPilot, or even I've implemented in most of my software, where the UI UX is so user friendly. So don't stop yourself. If something is helping you saving time, money, then just go for it. Always look into ROI positive. And if you get an opportunity and if something is coming on PitchGround, get it, because it's not coming back ever again. So just make sure that you take action right away. Don't wait for the last day, because last day never comes back again.
You get distracted and then you miss it and then you're like,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I've done that a lot. I did that with I did that recently actually. I managed to grab a let convert. Very, very good software, but yeah, go for it. Go for it while you can.
All right,
exactly.
brilliant. So Bob is saying there's a lot of bromance going on.
And Oob, you're part of that. You're a part of that. Oob, I've seen you in the Market Plan IO group.
Okay, so Tiago is saying ROI is the key. Well done. So definitely, it's always, and every time it's ROI. So if you have an ROI positive, just invest into it right away, regardless whether you're paying one time, monthly, yearly. It doesn't matter. Just look into whether it's saving you time. That's the key.
And that's the biggest reason why we do like the freemium model on the front end. That's the reason why we want you to grab a free account, because when you're getting started, you don't have the cash flow. But a lot of people, what they're trying to do is they're trying to build their business off of a lifetime deal suite. The reality is you're going to find that the platforms that really solve solutions that are like in depth are platforms that maybe they ran a lifetime deal when they were getting started, but really they're valuable. And when they're valuable, you got to realize that they're valuable to your business, and you building your marketing stack. I'm going to tell you right now, we've tried to get away from as many monthly deals as we can, but because I'm running a real business, I have a lot of monthly bills. That's the reality. That's called life. That's called business. So don't be afraid to invest in your business, because again, like what you had said, if SendPilot helps you gain a customer, it's worth it. If Market Plan IO or Catch Letter or any of these things help you gain your prospect, like, good, like you should pay for it. Like you should pay it takes money to spend money. It takes money to make money. You have to realize that you have to leverage these tools. And like I said, I mean, even with Market Plan IO, you want to get more clients, you want to get, certain things. It's always going to take more, but people are like, well, why can't I get it for free? Well, if you have that mindset, you're never going to break out of a place that's going to actually get you to the place of doing the things that actually count in your business, and say, okay, now that I have what I need, I can go and do what I need to do to close that client, to get that deal going. And, if you never break out of that cycle, you'll just be racking up lifetime deal after lifetime deal after lifetime, and never actually doing anything with those pieces of software.
I completely.
Because you always feel like you've got some sort of limit on you. The reality is you don't have a limit on you. The moment you do like something like what Doc Williams did, you close your first client that's $1,400 a month. Guess what? $20 a month doesn't sound like such a bad deal when you're making $1,400. That's the reason why SaaS platforms are priced the way they are, because we want to be part of the solution to your client's problem. We want to be a part of your solution to what you're doing. So focus on what you're doing. Stop focusing so much on what you have, because it's like saying, like a contractor, how much am I going to pay for this hammer? Well, if you go and buy a really terrible hammer and it keeps breaking on you, or you go and try to facilitate your hammer for every kind of job, you're never going to go out and win the business to actually become the builder of a huge building. Right. Sometimes you're going to need a jackhammer. Sometimes you're going to need a different kind of hammer. invest in the tools that get the job done. Because when you invest in the tools that get the job done, you can actually scale your business. So that's what I really want to encourage people out there. Lifetime deals are great, and get them while you can, but don't be afraid to pay for a service that's actually going to bring a real solution that's going to propel you forward in your business.
Exactly. I completely agree to every single point that you have said over there. Because it's a matter of quality at that point of stage. And another reason why most of the founders really do a lifetime deal is because they just want that early feedback. They just want you to come on board early, and they just want to grow. So, for example, when you guys came in for Market Plan, you guys just showered Tire with a ton of suggestions, and since then, like, it's just been working on those features. Same with Reece now. The moment we launched like SendPilot, we have been getting so many feature requests that as a founder, sometimes I don't know what all things that my audience would need, and I want to build a software that my audience would need and use, and that can save their time. So just like some of the suggestions that I gave to Reece, so for example, the video curation, right? That can save a lot of time, whereas my team is like manually uploading and posting everywhere. At that point, I'm sorry to say, but I won't need my team anymore. I can just upload and I can be done with it. It can save you a lot of money. It can save you a lot of time, and time is the key essence over here. So always look into that ROI. Just look into what can save your time, and something that can save your time is something that can help you scale your business, or else it's not going to be, or else you just cannot scale your business at that point of stage.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just to put my 2 cents in, whenever I buy software, and I don't know if this is from my mindset or whatever, but I always see it as you say, Ty, as an investment, right? So I never see it as a cost, because I want a return on that. I'm expecting a return, whether that's a customer, some more sales, some more visibility. And I've got too far down that road, because now whenever I see a solution, I just go straight into the buy it. I don't even worry about a free trial. I just upgrade, because I know, $20 a month, $30 a month, whatever. If I'm getting clients on, or if I'm increasing whatever it is I'm doing, that's what I care about. I don't care how I'm doing it, or how much I'm spending to do it, as long as it's within reason. But just getting that return on that is what's really, really important. That's why it's also important, Market Plan. Even if you just compared it to hiring a virtual assistant to do it, so whether it fulfills the job of what Market Plan does or what SendPilot does or anything, when you compare like a $39 a month software or $50 a month software to hundreds of dollars of paying a virtual assistant to maybe do the same job, maybe not even as good a job, the value is really, really there. Just because it's software, don't be afraid to pay for it. I remember a time where my uncle would, or my friends would pay thousands and thousands and thousands for Photoshop, for a Photoshop license years ago, and they'd be happy to pay that because they know they'd be charging their customers thousands and thousands, and it would pay that off in 1 or 2 clients. And now, we've got all this incredible software that's like a few cups of coffee a month in cost, yet the return on that is potentially incredible. So yeah, 100% what you guys are saying.
And just to add to that, when I was 17, when I was 18, that's when I actually bought my first Photoshop license. I think it was PS2 or PS3 back then, if I remember it correctly. And somehow, like, I borrowed money from people, my parents and everyone, and it was crazy because it was $700 for the license, and I was like, oh my god, how would I, like, as a teenager, $700 back in those days was like crazy. And today, if I wouldn't have bought those license and started my journey as a designer 11 years ago, I wouldn't be here today. If I would have tried to like somehow get around and just try to use a free solution like Paint, for an example, I wouldn't be sitting here today talking about things, right? I invested that $700 back then, and it has reaped me benefits for life today. And now I don't mind paying Adobe $50 a month. That's what I'm paying them every single month. And that $50 a month is a no-brainer for such a powerful tool set where I can do everything from videos to like creating images, graphics, everything with just few clicks. That's the power that you're getting just for $50. Imagine, like, just skip on couple of pizzas for a month or just a couple of movies for a month, and there you go, invest into this, and you can have like 100, 200x your ROI at that point of stage.
Right. And like for me, like I'm the same way. I use Photoshop, and I use Adobe XD for all of my prototypes and everything like that. And I built MarketPlan.io, 97 prototype screens deep in there. And MarketPlan.io would not be standing today if it wasn't for that, because I couldn't get what's in my head out.
Exactly.
And the reason why I buy these certain tools that work a certain way is not because I'm trying to back out of it. It's because I'm trying to go into it. If we look at our business like that, we could change everything in the future.
And that led to this huge ROI for Thai today. So always remember that ROI is the key, as Thiago is saying. Just look into your ROI and see what you need. Just because something is on a lifetime deal, it doesn't mean that you need to get it. See if you can use it right away. Be Doc Williams, or as Doc says, he's coming after you. He's coming after your clients. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. So Hassan is saying, you meet the persons you deserve. You three are nice guys. Thank you so much, Hassan, for that.
Thank you.
So the next question is from Mario. He's saying, what was your buy-in, Reece, into PitchGround? So Reece, why PitchGround over any other platforms?
Oh, good question. That is the question I was not expecting. So we were approached, and we were very, very far down the line with other lifetime deal platforms. But the reason we ran with PitchGround, I think I was speaking to Udit a very, very, well, not very long time ago, but a few months ago, before PitchGround was even a thing. And he was telling me this great idea they had for the platform and building the community. Because I'd actually worked on, my first company was actually a social network that helped founders connect with mentors and investors and all that kind of thing, called Start Bubble. That was a first year of university social network that I built. So immediately I kind of had that like, I love what he's doing. I love this idea, because it's kind of what I wanted to do. But Udit's got the skills and the know-how and the backing to be able to actually take it on a bigger scale. So I was immediately bought into that. And then we were so far down the line with the other company that we were working with. But I kind of realized after a few different things happened, and that my perspective had shifted on initially what was thinking like, oh, we're going to sell all these licenses. But then I thought that's not sustainable. And what would be sustainable is to have a partner that kind of understands where we're coming from and not just the buyer. And Udit, showed that, and obviously he introduced me to Aaron as well, who kind of punched it home that, I wasn't just going to be a way for them to make some money. It was more, we would develop together, and PitchGround would grow, and we would grow, and then we'd grow this community around ourselves and PitchGround. And I mean, just by the speed of the PitchGround community and how fast that has grown, that kind of just solidifies everything that I was kind of banking on and hoping for. So it's a fantastic community, and I'm very, very excited and very happy that I decided to move away from the other partner and go with PitchGround.
I really appreciate that. All right, so a lot more compliments for Thai over here. Market plan is overseen aspect proof. So Soumya is saying, sow the seed to get a reap. That's a very good one, actually. So Aaron is saying, need to invest in yourself by investing in quality products. Yep, I totally agree to that. So Ob is saying, love the video creation idea, exactly. And Mario is saying, my Adobe subscription is like my utility. So I think that's pretty much for everyone. Everyone who comes in the internet world, I think one of the first subscriptions that you end up buying is an Adobe subscription.
Yeah, it was for me.
All right, guys, let me know if you guys have any other question. We'll be happy to cover them. If not, we'll be covering in the next webinar. But if you have any other question with regards to SendPilot, or with regards to some of the future roadmap of SendPilot, or anything in general with social media, we'd love to cover them. We have more webinar coming up. We have more tips for you guys coming up. And we really want you guys to take action. That's something that I say in every single webinar. Don't wait. Take action. If you don't take action, some of your competitors are going to take action and they're going to steal away all your customers. So it's a matter of just taking action. And that is what is separating you from being here to here. All you got to do is take action. You might fail once, twice, but learn from those mistakes. Learn from why you are failing continuously, and just make sure you do not make that mistake again. It's okay to make mistakes, because you can only learn when you make mistakes. You can only have experiences from your bad experiences. Always remember that. And that's the only way you can grow in life. So let us know if you have any other question. So Pratik is asking, what type of content is perfect for creating engagements? I think that's a very good question, Reece. Let me know.
What type of content? Great question. Obviously, it varies based on audience, but the end goal of every piece of content you should be sharing is to either update people on what you're doing. If you're a company that wants to update people on the latest thing you're working on. But the kind of thing that underpins every single piece of content, whether it's YouTube content, a Facebook post, a LinkedIn post, a tweet, is adding, as we touched upon, a hell of a lot, adding value in some way. Whether that's through educating them on something they didn't know, sharing some advice for them to improve in their business, even just sharing a tool that you found useful, like just trying to think. Neil Patel created a fantastic new keyword research tool recently, and I shared it, and I barely even put, I think I put great tool or something like that, something super bland that wasn't even interesting, but because I dropped that and then I shared it, and my followers are obviously other marketers, they all liked it and shared it, and they found value in that, and that obviously got engagement, because what I was sharing, doesn't matter what I put, but what I was actually providing was valuable to them. So don't be too worried about the mode or the medium of what you're sharing or how you're sharing it. You want to be focusing on why you're sharing that to these people, and why you're providing this, because that will end in you boosting that engagement, not just putting stuff out for the sake of it.
For sure. So just provide value, and just see like what kind of contents that we are posting, or some of the top marketers are doing. You'll see that how they're really engaging people, and just try to mimic initially, and just try to see if it's working for you. If it's not, then just try to change. Again, you will fail the first time, but you will succeed the second. If you fail again, just keep making those changes, and eventually you will start seeing something that's really working for you. Once you find that, just scale up. So another way is, if you see Marketplan iOS group, it's super engaging. People go and like Ty was saying the other day, he actually prepared a feature. There was a feature that was out, but he wanted to create a whole video around it and everything. But people found out, right? And people started the engagement themselves. And this is what happened when you really create a community where you connect with that community. That's the power of community. And that community can only be built when you provide value. So if you see, today we are on our 7th webinar. Every Friday we have been here, regardless of where we are. Ty had been traveling, I had been traveling. No matter what, we never stopped providing value. And that's something that we were extremely clear about, that every Friday, 9:30 a.m. EST, there will be a webinar, right? We are providing you value at that one stage. Every week we're bringing different subjects. We're talking about something new, something different, something where you can pick up some golden nuggets that you can implement in your business right away. So that's important. Provide value, and it can take time for you to get results. Don't wait that I need the results right away. It's going to take you some time as well to see those results. So I think all those things can lead to the perfect content that you can start working to create engagements. So moving on to the next one, it's from Aaron. He's asking, what hole in the market did you see that needed to be filled in the market by creating SendPilot, Reece?
Oh, good question. I think it was born out of my own problem I had. So prior to starting SendPilot, I was running another software company, and one of the biggest problems we had was we were always putting out this blog content, but it kind of just kept falling flat. Like, we never had the time to actually share it on all the pages, and kind of keep it going and keeping that buzz around it. So we'd put the content out and it would sit there. We maybe got a comment or two on the actual blog itself, and then it would just kind of die. So the problem that we had was we'd spend all this money and time writing everything and making all these articles look good, and then they would just kind of do nothing for us. So I suppose it wasn't a case of sitting and looking for a hole and like a money-making opportunity. It was more just a case of let's build this little tool that I intended to actually just use it for ourselves initially as like an automation system, so that as soon as we published a blog, it would get sent out and split up and created into posts. It was only when I actually started asking other people in other small businesses and other software companies if they had that same problem. That's when I realized that, maybe there is a gap in the market for this, or a gap in the market for something that does it really, really well and is virtually zero touch. And that is where I got really, really excited, and I stayed up all night for many, many nights, as I'm sure we've all done in some respect, building it and getting it to a release production ready quality.
Brilliant. I think that's one thing that is common with every single founder. None of us sleep. All right, so we're going to take the last question, guys. It's already been over 2 hours. So the last question is from John, and he's saying, is it easy to manage client schedule post without it looking cluttered? Is there a small avatar on each post to quickly differentiate them?
Onto each. So whenever you manage a client, you log directly into the dashboard, so they're not all mixed together. So how it works is, I'm not too sure whether you saw the client dashboard, but I can flash that up as well. I'll put it in the chat after, put it in the group after. But each client has their own card. So that card has a picture of the client and the client's name on it. Then what you do is you click manage. That will take you through to the dashboard that is just for that client. So all of the posts you see will only be for that client. They're not all mixed together. It won't be all mismatched with other clients' posts that are ready to go out. It's all dedicated. So each client essentially gets their own dashboard that you manage. And then as soon as you come out of that, go back to your client dashboard. You can go on another client, and then you just see their posts. So it's all relative to that one client. And it also tells you by their name which client you're managing on that dashboard. So you're never kind of confused or disconnected at any point.
Brilliant. So guys, let me know if there is any other question, or we have to wrap up because it's been over 2.5 hours. I'm just going to take this one last question from Aaron. He's asking, how did you get your first client for SendPilot?
Oh, good question. How did I get? I'm just thinking, this was about 8 months ago. You know what? That's a very good question. So the first one we did it was I reached out to a few people in a local business networking group on Facebook that I was a part of, and I said, is anyone interested in beta testing it? And it was super, super rough at that point, and we had a couple of people that came in, and then we kind of just worked with them until the point where they'd be happy to put some money down for it. So it was kind of a sort of soft, gradual launch into getting a first client. It wasn't like going straight in and getting someone straight away. It was more relationship building, essentially, and building on this network that I already had, and kind of introducing them to it and explaining how it would help them, and then trying to develop it in line with them until that point where they're happy to become a customer. So yeah, it was more about trying to give them, it comes back to it again, give them that value first and then worry about all the money and all that stuff later, when we were actually providing enough value.
Brilliant. More questions are just coming in. I think, Reece, you can probably take those questions.
I'll jump on after.
And just get in touch with them one-on-one. Yeah. I think that would be fantastic. So thank you so much, everyone who has stayed around for almost 2 hours, 43 minutes. This really beats the last webinar as well, which was like 2 hours 30 minutes. We just have like so much to share that we try to like restrict it to just 2 hours maximum, but somehow it's been stretching to over 2 hours. So we'll have to really make it more precise. But I just want to thank everyone again for attending the 7th episode of PitchGround webinars, and I hope you're really able to start using social media in the right way. You're able to start distributing your content. You're able to start really creating the value that's required for you to connect with your audience. That's extremely important. So if you guys have any other questions with regards to SendPilot, or with regards to how the future of SendPilot looks like, let us know. We'll be more than happy to answer your question. And also, we are going to be coming back with the next episode the next Friday. Remember, the next Friday is Black Friday, so we have something amazingly scheduled for you guys. A lot of action. So just make sure that you keep your entire day free. There's going to be a lot of content sharing. There's going to be a lot of value, and at the same time, some amazing things that are coming out, which I really can't reveal on Black Friday. So once again, guys, thank you so much for being there till the end. And like Thomas is saying, I love these talks and drinking coffee. Cheers. So maybe we should partner up with Starbucks or something, and just start having some coffee on the show. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Ty, if you want to have some closing comments, and Reece, if you want to have some closing comments before.
Well, just thanks everybody. We're excited for what SendPilot is able to leverage in your business. And Reece, thank you so much, man, for just showing up and giving us your best today. I mean, wow, just amazing value. And we feel enriched by what you've said. And we just thank you so much, man, for making this possible and coming to this platform. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, and just from me, so excited to be working with you guys. Just from the day one, Udit and Aaron, you guys have provided unbelievable value, and Ty as well. We've spoken personally. So yeah, we're all incredibly excited. I should have mentioned SendPilot's actually a 4-person team. Me being the founder of that team, and we're all so excited to really bring this to everyone through PitchGround. So we'll keep this value coming, and I'll be going live a few more times, probably just on my own, very scrappily with the camera up, facing my fear, over the next few days. So yeah, let's make it happen.
Awesome, man.
Fantastic. Always saying this isn't a webinar anymore; it's a town hall. All right, guys. Thank you so much for attending the 7th episode of PitchGround Town Hall. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much, guys. And you guys have a great day and great weekend.
Thanks.